Good evening, everybody, and welcome to episode 6669 of the Unpaid and Underrated Podcast, the podcast for crew, by crew, featuring crew, memed by the rest of the crew. And, the only thing shown on the walls at the Massonomics Waco compound uh, down there in western northeast South Dakota.
Up
I
there.
am up there, down there. I mean, yeah, up there from us, down there from.
Well, that's the bit. They're north of everybody, and
Yeah,
Canada's south of them, obviously.
yeah, we flew like in a straight line, you and I, to pretty much to go to Sioux
Hmm.
Falls. Like,
At least we were able to go through Chicago and didn't have to fucking go to like Atlanta or something like I always end up having to.
anyway, I'm Big Joey, and that's Big Keith,
Howdy, howdy.
and we're welcomed by Big Kim.
Howdy.
Yeah, you might wanna say hi there. Um,
Oh, hello, folks.
That's Big Kim from Barbell Rescue for anyone listening.
that old brand, that old thing. All right,
Thing.
so let's start. What are you drinking? Thought I saw
I
some bourbon over there.
Oh, cheers. Yeah, just got a little bullet. This actually just happens to be neat today. Usually I throw in the big ice cube, but we got that. Then also, if I need to worry about hydrating, I got a little blackberry lemonade Waterloo.
Ooh, it's a good one. I'm sure one of the
Yeah,
Davids doesn't like it because he doesn't like fun. You know, he's not a fan of the Waterloo apparently, but we like the Waterloo in this David household.
yeah, I
Uh,
jumped on it quick.
I am out of any can in the house, so I just got some plain old water. Well, no, I can't say that. It is a what is it? Liquid IV infused water, which is funny because when I drink that at work a lot, and my coworkers are always like, "What the hell is in your drink?" You know, I either have an orange Gatorade, orange Mio, or liquid IV. So like, I never drink clear water at work, and everyone's always like, "What the fuck are you consuming?" That's how they say it too. They say, "What are you consuming?" I'm not the one that comes up with that. Okay. What about you, Joey? What are you drinking over there?
I'm having a Keith.
I could literally do an episode by myself, I think, and just talk to myself. I think I could.
Oh, yeah, you could.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, do I need to say anything here? Like, no, I've
Um,
got the old Nova Scotia Keiths in the Nova Scotia glass. I got over here a couple of those. Like it was one of those fun things that we always joke about influencer this, influencer that, whether we are or we not. And seeing the amount of people at the Crew Falls drinking those 0% Guinnesses,
yeah,
and all of them saying, "Well, ever since Joey brought him up on the podcast, I've been drinking these," and that's like probably the most influencer I've ever felt.
that's pretty cool.
And yeah, but then I realized I stopped drinking them. So now,
Well,
so now every time I'm thinking I could have a beer, I think no, go have one of those. So those guys influenced me back
that's funny.
to drink less beer. So it was
That's
it was
good.
actually a pretty funny like kind of circle there that like I'm not an influencer. Yeah, you are. No, I'm not. And then it was like, yeah, well,
I feel
anyway.
like you've had a fair amount of ebb and flow on consuming alcohol and not consuming alcohol, and it's like 1 month you do, 1 month you don't, and it's just like, and you'll state it as in like it's a fact that you don't drink anymore, and I'm like, and then like 2 weeks later you're drinking, and I'm like, okay, I
I
just,
never said I don't drink. I'm saying I'm
or
cutting back.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I have been. And
It's like,
then
well, of course it's a water.
yeah. And then something like Crew Falls will hit, and I'll be like, no, 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 I'm cutting back. And then I'll end up in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, drinking for 6 hours with everybody.
I'll follow up on that. I think I put it on Instagram, but was it the Modelo? I can't remember if I touched on that last week or
Mm,
not, but I put it on Instagram. I think everyone thought I was gonna like Modelo.
it's
It
okay.
wasn't piss. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it was better than it wasn't piss, but like I don't know, man. I had 3 beers that weekend, and it was I don't know. It worse, but better or worse? Because I had one at the brewery. I just took whatever like number one or number A. The guy just said it was like a light lager. So I maybe Modelo was I don't know.
Did
Think the
you,
brewery beer was worse, and the Modelo was
of course,
okay, and then Mick Ultra was dope,
did you
as
put a
always.
little lime in the Modelo?
Unless Tommy had some behind the chalk, I didn't
Mm,
think
no,
I
that's,
didn't have
yeah.
access to one.
Oh, okay, you had it at Tommy's. No, no, no. So
Yeah.
Modelo is a obviously a Mexican beer or Mexican style beer, and they are best served with a little bitterness of lime.
Indeed.
Yeah.
What you wearing over there, Kim?
Well,
What you
I
rocking?
got the Economics stand hoodie and my lift shorts that just dropped.
Nice.
And yeah, and then, just a shout out to my hometown in Hutchinson, Kansas. football hat.
Nice. Is that your first experience with that style shorts, or do you have any of the lifting department ones?
I bought the OD lifting department ones
Oh, nice. Yeah.
when those
Good.
came out, and then once I got those, I was like, I see what everybody's talking about now. So anyway, as soon as these lift ones dropped, I bought them, and then I might have 3 days ago bought the blue ones as well.
Oh boy.
I have both
I'm
of
in,
them right here. I've got the black
yeah,
lift ones and the blue. Yeah.
Joey, I
Nice.
think you mentioned the blue ones, and I was like, I need more lifting shorts anyway. Nothing fits, so hey, I need the blue as well.
Nice. I'm rocking the Barbell Rescue shirt that was
Oh,
mailed out by Kim himself, I believe, while he was in the lower 48 this year, if I
that's
recall.
right.
I don't even have one of those. I've got the chicken bake shirt on because I'm going through some stuff with work. So let's fucking get her
I've yet
going.
to I've yet to try chicken bake. I don't even know if they have those here up here in Alaska. I don't
Hmm.
go to Costco. My wife does all that,
To ask her.
but
I mean, they're worth trying.
yeah,
Just like the Arnold, try it once.
yeah, indeed. It's on the list. I just gotta, if I ever go there, I need to just divert straight to the food court.
No.
Yep. Straight to the calf. Get that chicken bake.
Yeah,
Make sure you got some hot sauce in your Massonomics fanny pack. That's what I did.
noted.
Yep. I cut one in half and I took a couple bites and then I was just like, nah, this is missing something. And then I went, wait a minute. I have Taco Bell fire sauce in my bag. Pulled it out, dipped it in. Yeah, it was golden.
All right. We
That's
want
the
to.
that's the kind of tips I need to know.
I want to do a quick story and then we can get into the rating last week's episode. So today I was so tired. I was laying in bed. My wife was talking to me from the other room. I don't even remember the setup exactly, but I said something to her and I chuckled to myself because I thought it was funny. And I actually like said the sentence and then said LOL out loud. Like I was fucking, and I was just like, and I caught myself and I was like, are you fucking, did I just fucking do that? I was like,
You
that's the
fuck-
dumbest, most like,
you
I don't,
fucking nerd.
I was like, did I, but I, like, because her and I, like, we both been working like crazy, so like I haven't been seeing her as much. So we, just, we on WhatsApp or like we've been communicating on like four different fucking social media
Ugh.
platforms and what's text and shit. And yeah, I said my sentence or two sentence like story I told her, and then it was a funny story, and then I said LOL at the end, and I was just like, are you? I
So,
LOL'd after I
so
did
not
that.
only did you say LOL out loud like a weirdo, you said it to your own story.
Yeah,
Like
probably.
you didn't even say
I
it to
don't even remember the
something somebody
context
else
other than
said.
that I really don't remember the like I but yeah, I thought that was funny and I don't know if I'm sure I'm not the first person to do that, but probably the first crew because I'm always the first to be ridiculed for stupid shit that I do. All
It
right,
was
and
it's like that guy in the Chappelle show that when he was trying to battle rap Dave Chappelle and then he like dropped a line and then he went oh to his own line. Yeah, that's what you just did, buddy.
Yes. Well, like Kelso does that on that '70s show when he yells burn afterwards, so it's kind of like that, but not really.
Yeah.
Because LOL was just literally just it was the dumbest thing, and I laughed so hard like after the fact that we both laughed. We
Would you
didn't
say
laugh
you
at
did you LOL?
yeah, apparently,
Yeah,
apparently.
or maybe it was a literal LOL.
Yeah.
Ooh, an LLOL.
LOL.
LMAO, LMAO,
Oh, his internet's going
all
down.
that.
This is why
Oh,
he can't do episodes on his own.
All
yeah.
right. What was I'm so confused on the episode. Oh, damn it.
Yeah, yeah, you
I'm
froze a bit
here.
there, buddy. Ear. All right. Well, I definitely
So
think
yeah.
sorry, what we're gonna do next? We're gonna rate the episode or we're gonna go into predictions?
Let's rate the episode. We can
Didn't
just do
we
that quicker.
already rate the episode?
Did we rate
Yeah. We
oh
rated
we
it on
might
the one
have
we
last
recorded
week's
earlier
episode.
this week. Yep.
Yeah, so fuck you, Tommy and Tanner. We're not gonna rate your episode this week.
That's kind of mean.
We'll
Take that.
preemptively I know. Well, Tommy
Actually,
will never hear it and Tanner will think it's funny.
so I'll give you instead of that, I've been consuming content from the Crew Falls based on everybody's
It does sound weird when
posts.
other people
Yeah,
say it. Oh
yeah,
God.
you're right. It does. And
It like makes my skin crawl. Oh, it's like it's weird.
would you say I've been consuming it? And
LOL.
LOL. And today I was like watching some videos with my kid, and he's only 5, but he now knows Keith, Tommy, and Tanner separately from everybody else. Yeah, so I was just like, "Oh, who's this? Do you know who this is?" And then Tommy came on, and he went, "Keith," and I went, "No," and he was like, "Oh no, you're right, that's Tommy."
That's
And I'm
awesome.
like, "Yeah, buddy." And then you appeared, and he's like, "That's Keith." And I was like, "Well, you better know who Keith is. His head is everywhere in my house."
Every-
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I think I made like a 1 second appearance, like falling off the pull-up bar. What was
Yeah.
funny is like Tommy used so many of the misses. Like he just must not have been recording as much, or it's just the funnier stuff because it would be like completed lift, and then like 10 people like not picking up an object.
Yeah. The back of my head appears in a lot of videos from this event.
There
So
was
anyway,
one there was one cut where like someone was standing off to the side, and then like the very next frame they were the one on the pull-up bar. So it kind of I can't remember who it was, but it was just really funny that it went from like it was like boom 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 boom.
yeah. And then
Huh.
last thing on the fill in the spot for the rate the episode. You guys obviously have clued into the Paul Foss and Matthias Cash meme.
It's been a good one.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good template. So I want to congratulate everybody for as far as they took those. That's been really fun.
Okay, so it's this time of the year. Actually, completely forgot we did this. Well, I think I remembered like a few months ago, and then didn't put the effort in to go find them. But Joey and I did some predictions in December. I think it was December 26th on the episode with Carp of 2023. We made 3 predictions going into 2024. So we're just gonna go over those real quick, and then we're gonna make 4 or 5 predictions for 2025, and then we can get the guest on the horn.
Why don't we get Kim involved in this?
Okay.
So we've got 3 things where 1 year ago, this date, we tried to guess what would happen. Okay.
All
So
right.
I want to see who you think ended up being right. Does this make
Oh, okay.
sense? Okay. So for 2024, will we produce more podcast runtime than Massonomics? Keith says yes. I said no. Who was right?
Hmm.
Podcast only,
I
no
gotta go with
YouTube or anything.
podcast only. I'm gonna go Joey.
Nope.
No.
No,
We
it
did
was
it.
Keith. We beat them by mere
What?
minutes. Yep.
We edged those boys out
Wow.
all weekend. We edged them
Edged him
all
out.
weekend.
Edged
Yep.
him out.
We
I
did.
thought,
No,
no
it
way,
was.
because I thought to myself a
Yeah.
year ago, I don't want to do that. That sounds tedious.
Yeah, like who's
I
gonna
I
spend
did.
that
I was
much
going
time
back to the
doing this?
spreadsheet though. We had a run there where we were like 245, 230, like 215. There was like 3 months of like nothing under 2.5 hours, and I think we had the one 3 hour episode, and
Yeah.
then
We
we just
started
like
losing listeners.
dramatic. Yeah, started losing fucking hosts. I feel like I was fucking losing my goddamn mind. So
You're like,
cutting it to that 2 hours has been wonderful. So we might not beat them. Like that's not going to be part of next year's prediction or anything. But like, in all honesty, like I don't think we will. Or if we do, it's going to be like by seconds, not probably the hour. We probably beat them by a couple hours this year.
man,
So,
Yeah.
but
man,
yeah, that was number one.
you
Go
guys
ahead
are
with the
on the
next one,
grind.
Keith.
Yep. So the second prediction that we made, Kim, was that we would have what was it? It was basically over under, yeah, of 5 non-interview episodes. So as a podcast producing the episode,
Oh,
basically had 5 roundtable episodes or 5 episodes with someone else on, which essentially ended up all being roundtable episodes. Some that Joey and I were both on, some that one of us would be on. I don't think we had any that either of us weren't on, but basically like random, like so we had some recap episodes and some
yeah.
some themed list episodes. So did we have more or less than 5?
Keith said no, we wouldn't.
Oh yeah, good call.
I said yes, we would.
Oh man. Considering when I jumped in on all this, I'm gonna have to say under. I can only think of a couple that I've listened to that I think were roundtable. So under 5.
It was right at 6. It took me a while. I actually spent about 10 minutes going through my spreadsheet and like going through and like, okay, that one didn't have a guess, that one did, da 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 da. And yeah, it was 6 from like starting the start of the year up until as of last week, basically. So when this comes out, the 6th one would have already just came out too.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
so it should end up being 6, possibly 7 for the year, but definitely over the 5.
It's a good thing I don't have the soundboard right now.
Wrong
Yeah,
again.
Wrong again, Keith. Wrong again, Joey. Wrong. It just be me and you going back and forth with that
Just
annoying thing.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Jeez. Gobble gobble.
yeah, there you go.
Wrong again. Joey Davids.
That was actually really close. Like I couldn't do it, but that was good.
Oh,
Nice.
it every time he did it, and then he did it into the ground,
Well, of
which
course,
made it even funnier.
we don't know how to tell jokes without beating them to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
By
gotta
the
go
way,
all the way.
for the Davids. All
Yeah.
right, the last one, and this one is probably pretty obvious. Massonomics will hit 475 supporting members in 2024. Keith says yes, and I distinctly remember saying, well, just to make it even, I'm going to say no.
And at the time, we were at like 375-ish.
Yeah, I wasn't committed to that answer, but who do you think was
Oh.
right?
Yeah, we're over.
No, we are
Yeah.
over. We hit the road to 600.
Yeah, goodness.
5.
Yeah.
No, we
That's
hit
where they were
500,
at.
didn't we?
Well, yeah, okay. The road to 6. Yes, you're
Yeah.
accurate. We are on the road to 6.
That's what the
Yeah,
road to means, Keith.
I hear
You're
you.
not there yet. So
That's where it was at. That's good history. So that was where it was at a year ago.
Yeah,
It was in
so
the 300s?
360. I have 372, but that would have been
Wow.
that episode released on the 26th was probably recorded on like I don't know -7 days, so 21.
Impressive.
So we did it. We did it, crew.
Yep.
Yeah,
So more or less
fantastic.
just under 1 year they've gained over 100 crew. I mean, so they have actually probably gained almost 150 crew, 125 crew because at
Yeah.
least that many had left. And we had actually we got Tanner to kind of open the books a little bit and like give us a breakdown of the top 10, 12, 13 crew because there was some of the guys that knew they were really high up, and outside of like 2 names, maybe 3 names in the top 12, you would have never heard of anybody. Like I think they're just people that the credit cards just haven't expired yet, possibly, or they're just the most extreme lurker that's ever happened.
Good for them.
But either
Good for
way,
them.
you know,
Yeah.
they're still there.
All right. So Keith and Kim, you are also welcome to be a part of this. Why don't you hit me with your next predictions? Because I see a couple here, but they don't make any sense to me. So go ahead.
Did I not? I don't know.
You added a couple, but they're kind of like here and there. There's one about crew that's not about the podcast. So go ahead. man.
Yeah.
Hit me.
Okay, so let's go in 2025. Keith and Nate will meet in person for the first time.
I say yes.
Okay. I'm gonna hope I do. So I'm gonna say yeah. I guess I have to say, well, to be contrary, no.
Don't be contrary and say yes.
No,
Yeah.
I do need to make it. Basically, the trick would
I believe
be
in you, Keith.
yeah. Well, the trick's gonna be like if I end up doing the Arnold, and I only go for Friday and go home, and Nate's only there Saturday again. But
You
we
miss
should-
so much, man. You miss so much.
But the anxiety, but
No,
yeah,
stay behind the counter. You stay at
still
the
gotta-
Massonomics booth.
yeah.
Your role, and this is I'm going to put this out there now because I still have got to reach out to Tanner. One of us just sits behind with an unpaid and underrated banner
Mhm.
and shirt. Our sole job is to have massonomics.com/join opened up on a pad, tablet, or computer. And people that come by and go, oh, I've been following you guys for a long time. Oh, and then we go, okay, join the crew. Like, we want you on our podcast. We only interview crew. Like, get on. And that's our job. That's literally our job, is to get supporting members. And we can have some other people helping us. And that's literally it. Like, me and you alternate Friday, Saturday, Sunday, just sitting there. And that's our role. That keeps you from the crowd. That keeps me out of trouble. Keeps me away from Huck Finn. Like that, I don't think that's a bad idea. I came up with that last year because I got guys there the whole time going, oh yeah, I know you. They talk about you all the time. And I'm like, then join crew so you can be on. Oh, maybe. But if I jammed a tablet in their face and I was like, put your credit card here, like we would get supporting members right there.
I really need to get Andy Pandy up there saying there's only 3 spots left, guys, and he could fucking sell that line.
Yep.
All right. The next prediction we're gonna go with here is in 2025, over under 6 episodes that Nate will be on. So will Nate be on 6 episodes? So basically, above or below 6 episodes.
Kim, what do you think?
Nate's
I'm
our
gonna go
producer.
above.
You should know Nate. Yeah.
Yeah,
Above?
because
Okay.
he got rave reviews on the Thanksgiving one, if I remember right. He did really well.
Nate's always good.
So yeah, bring him back.
Will Nate be on six? Six is so basically if you base it off of we did six non-interviews this year, and
Hmm.
I think he was on exact. Did he miss any of them? He might not have been on a couple of those. I'd actually have to research that. I don't know how many episodes Nate was on this year.
Does his voice count?
Yeah, well, but he came out he did come on. I'd actually really have to look into that because he guest interviewed a couple people with us. So oh, fuck, we're gonna. God damn it! I tried to make this really easy so I could like just get all the answers for next year because like everyone had really funny submissions, but it would all require a shit ton of work of like who I'd have to log every time Joey said he was sick on the episode. I'm not fucking doing that because I don't have an abacus big enough to fucking do that.
It's coming right
So
now. The
so
boy,
I guess now we
the
have to
boy
keep
is
track.
sick.
Actually,
Yeah.
Nate, if we're gonna go with it, you have to keep track of how many times you were on the episode, and then tell me next December. So I'm gonna go that Nate's not on six episodes.
I'm gonna say I hope so because Nate is.
What?
I think I've said it before. He's a chaotic, very funny. He has an energy that doesn't come from you know
I don't know where he
any
gets it.
and it's just he's so frenetic and so funny. I genuinely hope he's on more episodes. I know he prefers to kind of not have to do them as often, but if we could support him and get him on a few
Yeah.
more, I think
Nate's
I
like
think
naturally high on life, I feel.
yeah,
I think that's a
I
good way to describe Nate.
I think the way to bust out two of these is we coordinate a lifting session at the No Wine Cellar
Let's do it.
and record a podcast in person. That's it. I'm putting
As
it
long
out there.
as he has to bring the tech
Actually,
gear, I'm
put
down
that
with
on
that.
put that on there. Put that on there. In
Oh,
2025,
the in-person episode.
there will be an in-person episode with at least two of the three of us.
Well, yeah, because anything other than that would
Yes.
just be
We're all within 2 hours of each other, like
No,
3 hours of each other.
we should make that happen. I think that'd be cool. Okay, so that'll be, but
Kim's like, I'm getting the inside scoop right now. Like he's got the
I
evil,
know.
like
I'm gonna
I'm
say
just
we.
sitting here thinking, just like when you guys talk about, oh, we're only within 2 or 3 hours of each other. I'm going,
you're not in 2 or 3 hours of our countries.
anything.
Like
Like what? Like
Um,
I can't
but-
even fly 3 hours and get to Seattle.
But for clarity on that one, I will say as much as I want it to happen, I think we're all busy, so busy. I don't know if it will. I will go no, but an optimistic yes. And then the last one here we'll go with, you and you will publish at least one 3-hour episode in 2025.
No.
No, is Mike? God damn it, we better not. So okay, that's kind of a wash, but still.
We better not.
Please.
I did go back and look. It looked like one of the David, unless my math was wrong, I only saw one 3-hour episode. There was a few like high 250 pluses, but British David was the only one that cracked the 300 or the 3 hour, and it was right at 3 hours.
I'm not going to say who it is, but there's somebody we can get on that I can almost promise we would do 2.5 to 3 hours with.
Yeah.
But the odds of getting that person on are slim, you know?
Yeah.
And I think you know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. I want to leave that out there. I want to leave that out in the ether because I want people to try and guess who I'm thinking of.
Big Matt, probably.
I owe him another episode for sure.
You do. You're so sick. You schedule an episode with him, and I can take a week off and take a nap.
Just me and Matt? Oh, that would be psychotic.
You guys just.
Oh, I have ideas now.
But Matt needs a new job so he can actually like talk more and be like more hair down.
All right. Kim, do you have a Big Kim? Sorry. Do you have a Massonomics ad read for us moving into the next part of this episode?
Yeah. If you love lifting, cracking jokes, and wearing apparel that's as bold as your deadlift, the Massonomics is the place for you. The Massonomics community is all about strength, silliness, and embracing the absurdity. Because why not have fun while you're getting stronger? For just $3 a month, you can get access to exclusive crew content, fabulous apparel, and a community of like-minded lifters. Join Massonomics family, where jokes are layered like onions, and lifting and drinking is all we know.
Lifting and drinking is all I know. I forgot about that. When we did
Yeah.
our recap episode, there was one funny thing that kept happening is we'd go somewhere for like lunch or something, and Tanner just wouldn't join anybody. And then we would literally just get a message that goes, lifting and drinking is all I know. Where are you guys? He did that like 3 or 4 times.
That's
And
funny.
that was really good because he would just show up and drink and not eat. It was really funny.
Perfect.
Good dude.
Good dude. All right.
Mhm.
All right,
Kick it. Wait,
Cam.
how many do we got? We got, oh my God, we have
Do we
listeners.
have some looky loos? Good
We got
stuff.
Ryan's and Carp. Hey guys, you guys can stick around. I don't care.
They're good dudes.
Let's get our guest on the horn.
Big Kim, is that you, buddy?
Yo, I'm here.
Well, welcome. Welcome to the Unpaid and Underrated podcast. We always like to kick it off with just what brought you to Massonomics? How'd you find us? Why'd you join crew? You know, tell me your origin story.
Yeah, this one's a weird one. So I had no clue who Massonomics was like 3 years ago, and then when I got on Instagram for the first time in 2021, when I launched the Barbell Rescue page, I kept on seeing this Massonomics thing come across, and I was like, I don't even know what this is. Anyway, I just saw the Lift T-shirt and the little logo, and I was like, that's not even what I'm about or who I am or what are they like? Are they just an apparel company? Okay, cool. And anyway, fast forward as things kind of go along, I meet Keith at Home Gym Con, and I kind of meet some other crew, and I'm like, maybe this is more than just an apparel thing. Anyway, and now fast forward to January of this year, I thought, oh well, I started a new gym. I started going to a local gym, and I walked into it, and it was kind of like on the powerlifting strongman side of the house, and versus the CrossFit where I kind of came from. And I walked into that gym, and I said, I think I just walked into my Instagram store. Like, if my Instagram was a real place, this is it.
I love
And
that
there
line.
were
That was the best line ever.
like I was like, where did I just teleport to? There was Massonomics banners everywhere, and I was like, who are you? What is anyway? I talked to them. I was like, maybe I need to dive a little deeper into this. And so I listened to a few of the podcasts initially. So this was early in the year before Home Gym Con.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, I listened to it, and I was like, man, I'm from, like I said earlier, like I'm from Kansas originally. I've never been to South Dakota for some reason, but anyway, I was like, man, I feel like I am at home listening to these yahoos talk, and I love it. And so I started listening, and then I met him at Home Gym Con, and then I just kind of kept on putting off, actually supporting. And I'm like, listen, I've probably like August. Well, it must have been August because that's when I finally signed up, and I said, I've listened to enough of their content. I get enough joy out of it. That's where I need to be. And so I signed up, and the 24th of August, and I've been diving in ever since, trying to get caught up on all the jokes. I don't like the who's who of like I don't know who this person is. The David, all of the Davids, so whatever. I don't know who's who. And anyway, so that's where I kind of I've jumped into was. So I feel like I might be like one of the. I don't know. I only got 4 months under my belt. I think if my math is right.
Well,
so yeah, this is pretty
big
wild.
math over there.
Yeah, big math. I had to look down. I wrote something down when I joined. But yeah, so that's kind of how I came about it. It was a slow fade, and then now it's a deep dive into the Massonomics world.
Nice. And I do see you're on the. I mean, you're not like some of the guys that kind of join up and just never comment on Discord, and a lot of the newer guys that might just lurk or just don't open it. It's like you comment semi regularly on stuff, so you're not a complete novice over there.
That's right. I'm not just lurking about. No, I don't know if you remember this, but we had a DM conversation, Keith, about joining the Discord,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, no, I'm on enough social media. I am not doing this at all. And I mean, again, I didn't want to be on Instagram, let alone the Discord. What is that? I hear my oldest son talk about Discord, but anyway, yeah. Now I just sit when I'm just relaxing, I'm catching up on the Discord, and I'm laughing, and then people are like, "What are you doing over there?" I'm like, this guy's joke is hilarious.
But like you might need you might need a 4-minute setup to like explain why it's funny, and that's what makes
well,
it even better.
that's part of I like even so today on the Discord there was a conversation about like the Ferrari and the Lamborghini posters from your childhood,
Yeah.
Yep.
and I know my twin brother and we had the Lamborghini poster,
Yeah, my
and
brothers
so
do too.
I sent my dad a text this morning. I was like, "Hey, do we still have that Lamborghini poster?" And he's like, "What?" And then I had to try to explain it to him. I'm like,
That's
I'm in this
awesome.
text group.
It is easier to say a group chat than like to explain Discord and like Massimo.
Yeah,
It's just so much. Like I did explain like this weekend. It's like, oh, I just went and lifted and drank with like 40 of my buddies, and like the guy just like I wasn't gonna go in any deeper than that with the guy I was talking to. It was like
yeah.
Oh,
easiest way to explain it.
I spent probably half an hour of my time this week explaining and finding out that people don't know what the Iditarod is. Like
Oh,
legitimately, yeah.
that was hilarious.
And then they're like one of them was like, "Oh, I know what that is. I just didn't know that it was called that." And then I was like, "Did you learn about it in school? Because I did."
It's still a thing, even. I don't even like. Is it a thing?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
yeah, absolutely. It's a big. Well, here I'm going to backtrack to the Discord
Yeah.
thing when I jumped on there.
Ferrari.
So, my our youngest kid, um, she's a, she's 17. She's a senior in high school, and I mentioned the other day about being on Discord, and she just like stopped, looked at me, and she goes, "You're one of them? Like you're a
Nerd.
Discorder?" Yeah, I'm like, yeah, yeah, I am, but only on these two channels. But
And it's the
anyway,
most convenient group chat you can be in too, because you can just outside of until today, you could fucking have all the goddamn alerts off, and now this like getting fucking alerts for thumbs up is the dumbest fucking thing ever.
Yeah,
Discord should just
I
literally
don't get
get
any
burned
alerts.
down.
Yeah, I don't get any
yeah,
alerts.
no,
I don't
My
either
phone
until
is
fucking
shut
today.
off. If
yeah. There's only
texts
a
and phone
couple
calls,
alerts I get. Yeah, yeah, no, I don't need Discord alerts. That would be
that would be
insane.
insane. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
well,
think
if
I think Joey, you said it in the Discord today about the about no alerts being like peace.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, bingo.
Yeah. No alerts.
But
Texts and phone calls. Everything
yeah,
else. How dare you?
yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
dare you send a notification
How
to my
dare
phone?
you?
well, now
Yeah.
that you've been so inviting Kim on for social media, where they gonna find you at on Instagram? Go ahead and give us your IGs, your Discord, your website, all that
Oh
jazz. Where are they
goodness.
gonna find Mr.
Yeah.
Kim?
All right. So I feel like I'm going to be like you, Keith here. I got like four.
Oh, stop
Um,
it.
yeah, it's obnoxious,
Well,
really.
just the ones where you want
Um,
crew to find you, I guess.
yeah. So Barbell Rescue one, of course. But then now the personal one is just Friesen KA. So FRIESENKA. That's kind of like just my personal. That's the one I've had for the longest. And then since I joined Massonomics in the crew, I started a weightlifting one.
I don't think I
And
know about that.
yeah, so I just started it. I kept it very under wraps, but now people have started finding it. And by
As they
people
do.
I mean there's like 12. I don't even know how many people are on it.
I
There's a
want to
long
see you
story
lift. I
behind
gotta go
this.
find that.
But it's kind of this weird. I started Juggernaut, and I was running solid for like a 5 weeks. I got through the first block, and then I don't know if you guys have ever had vertigo, but I got a case of vertigo for the first time in my life, and it knocked me down for a good 3 or 4 weeks where I was just, it was wackadoodle.
That's like
But
where you're
anyway, so
like that's
that
where
one,
you're like dizzy and like the whole world's spinning, right?
dizzy, lightheaded. I felt like I was just walking around drunk,
Oof.
and
Were you in Crew Falls that weekend?
I was nauseous. I don't. Let's be honest. I had a few people ask me if I was just drunk.
Yeah, that's scary.
Like, is this normal, everyday life?
And that's kind
But
of worked
anyway,
itself out.
yeah, for the most part. And then, God,
Oh God, I couldn't
life
imagine putting fucking
is
400 a couple hundred pounds on your back or anything like that with
yeah,
that feeling.
life is a road.
You'd die.
Yeah,
Oof.
I didn't go to work in my part time gig because I was like, this is far from safe.
Yeah.
Um, But anyway, that lifting one, or that I need to get back into, is called Freezing Fitness, just FREEZN_fitness. But again, I haven't posted on that since I had that episode, and now it's like I was in the zone. It's one of those where you're like in the zone for a while, and then you get out, and you're just like, oh shit, I got to start over. And so that's where I'm kind of sitting right now. But anyway,
Nice.
that's just excuses, right?
And then you got a website you probably want people to go look at sometimes.
Oh yeah, I have this little website called barbellrescue.com.
Here you go. We'll get into that a little bit later, I'm sure, but
Yeah,
just want to get all
yeah.
that out there. All right. And then you had mentioned from Kansas originally and in Alaska
Indeed.
now. What is was that all military travel that kind of made that happen, or?
It sure is. Yeah, we moved to Alaska in August of 2014, and we've been here ever since. My wife and I are born and raised in Kansas, and after we said we can't stay here for the rest of our life, we got to get out. And anyway, so I joined the Air Force in May of 2001 and spent the next 20 years bouncing around in the military. Got here and we said we love it. Alaska is fantastic. And our kids were older and all this other stuff, so I was kind of done. We were kind of done moving about. So yeah, there was also surprisingly, there was a lot of job opportunities up here that kind of stuck to my wife and I, and we decided to ride those out. And then again, the kids were older, and so we decided to stay. It's pretty homey here. It's like a Midwest Kansas feel, but with mountains.
Nice. What part of Alaska did you guys settle in, give or take?
So the town is Eagle River, but we're like essentially a suburb of Anchorage.
Okay.
So kind of like the
Nice.
South Central. Yeah.
You ever been what is that? Deadliest Catch like films in that like off the bay there a lot, don't they?
Yeah, they do. So that is like hours and hours away from here. I don't even know what the plane ride is. You have to take like multiple like little hops all the way down there. You know, it could be 800 miles away for all I know.
Oh, okay. For some reason I thought maybe they just use Anchorage as like a baseline of like showing.
Yeah, there might be some that kind of maybe that poured out of here, but I couldn't tell you
Gotcha.
I couldn't even tell you the last time I watched that. It's
yeah,
weird.
It's been a few years since I want to say consumed, but I'm not going to. I'm going to try to stop saying it.
The idea here is that I think Alaska is bigger than New York.
Yeah, that one I'll give you. That's one of the few I'll give you off the top of my head.
Damn it! I meant to look that up to see how many New Yorks would fit in Alaska, but
that would be a good one.
I forgot. Like, what's the over under? Like, I don't know, 8, 10? Who knows?
That the joke will never die, will it?
Nope, never going away, my friend.
Not at all.
Man, so yep.
I should have been on my to-do list and I forgot it. Damn it. Anyway, yeah. So I think one time we had an earthquake way down there, and where that is kind of like filmed, if you will, and somebody was like, "Oh gosh, did you feel that earthquake?" I'm like, that's 800 miles away. We don't feel nothing.
How's your Hall of Fame status going?
Oh gosh, horrendous. I'm almost embarrassed to say. I think I legitimately only have one, but this makes number 2.
I was gonna say like that. This one, like being here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what your one might be.
It was the easiest one to.
Picture with
It
was hell. It was technical.
Well, I wonder if there's.
Go ahead, Kim. He's frozen.
You should. Yes, you will have the picture as well.
I didn't know if that was a technicality because I wasn't crew yet. With that picture being on social media with Keith, or even the video with Tommy during the interview at Jim Con, but I didn't know if I needed. I didn't know if I needed to be crew yet.
Okay. So what is the one that you have then besides this one?
Besides being drink here? Spotter.
That's the spirit.
Drink spotters. Yeah. That's where I dipped my toe in. And I said, I need one of these or 2.
What? Yeah.
And but yeah. But there's a few others that will probably come. I'm well on my way to 10 orders. I was looking earlier, and I said, I got here. I joined in August. I didn't realize this, but I have made an order once a month, every month since I joined. Like,
That's how they get you.
this,
It'd be like that
this is
sometimes,
bad.
especially when you're
My
have an
wife,
empty
my
closet.
wife's gonna start asking. My wife's gonna start asking questions, a lot of questions. But I was like, oh yeah,
Does your shipping have to go through Carol's stream? Nope, he's frozen now.
I see that. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I was like, is it me again or is it somebody else?
No. This time it's
But
not
no,
you.
I will. So Kim and I got a picture together, and was it? I'm trying to think if he was at Home Gym. No, he was at Home Gym. I have a picture with Kim at Home Gym Con 1, which is actually a good story we'll get into. If he doesn't unfreeze, I guess I can just tell it. So everyone that knows I hate change, obviously. Change is the worst thing in the world. I'm like, I have a medical, like, I think I have some, I'm sure if I like took enough tests, I could be like, literally said I have this disorder or that disorder to some extent.
Yep.
So change really is, it's not just like I don't like change. It's like fucking affects my brain chemistry for the day. So I already had a million different fucking barbell cleaning brushes. Why would I need a different one? You know, I tried it out a little bit there and was like, I don't know, because a couple people had it sitting there, and I was like, I mean, it's decent. It looks cool, but I wasn't like gonna jump right on it. And then Kim the man, I was just talking to him, and he basically sold me on it, just shooting the shit with him for probably 20 minutes at Home Gym Con. And, next thing I know, I'm handing over cash and taking home a brush. And we talked about oil before I had like a preview of the oil. It probably ended up close to a year before it actually became, hit on a shelf. And it was very, very cool. And like I said, it takes a lot for me to kind of like, try something new. And just that 20-minute conversation and seeing the product in person that did it for me. And that was my first experience with Kim there, almost a year and a half, a year, 18 months, I don't know, whatever March of 2023 is there. Big calendar guy. But before you had froze up there, Kim, I think you did. We asked you your supporting membership number, or what was the question we had asked him, Joey?
Oh, just his Hall of Fame status.
Oh yeah, we were wrapping that up.
So
Yeah,
oh no, what was the one that you do have? Was that, did we? Oh no, it was the
drink spotter.
Okay, then I think we're good on that one
drink
then.
spotters.
All right, so then what is your
Which one?
Yeah,
you got the OG
and the light.
Nice.
No, I'm sorry. I have the light and the XL.
But you don't have an OG.
Those are
I do not have an OG.
they're okay. The magnetic ones are like tenfold better, I feel.
I do, yeah. I do
for functionality. If I wanted to hit, sorry.
No, you're good. I'm embarrassed to say, like, my gym is garbage, so I don't have a whole lot of rig space, if you will. And so the OG drink spotter would take up a lot of space on my rack, or whatever you want to call it.
So you are a home gym guy, but you're also a commercial gym guy?
No, for the most, well, I'm all over the damn place. This is I don't know what kind of answer you want, but currently
the truth, damn it, I want the truth.
Currently,
you can't handle the truth.
You can't handle the truth.
LOL.
All right.
LOL.
So there I was back in 2016. I started my home gym. No, that's that, and I set it up as a CrossFit gym because I was.
Yeah, I saw you. You're definitely big Mr. CrossFit back in the day.
Yeah, I was. Before at that time, man, shit. When I was getting ready to retire from the military, I thought that was going to be it. I was coaching CrossFit, and I thought I was going to open up a gym or buy a gym, one of the local gyms. And I thought that was the route I was going to go, but it didn't pan out, which is probably for the best. And anyway, so my gym was kind of set up that way. I mean, it was wall to wall, horse stall mats. I had my one fold up rig that went against the wall just because, I like to try to park my truck in the garage when it's 20 below. And anyway, sense. So that's kind of what I had. It's very basic, just a barbell, some bumper plates, few dumbbells, and a box, and away you go. But it was enough to make me vomit at that time. And then now I'm just trying to shift gears a little bit and just work on getting strong because I am far from it.
I don't know. I thought your cartwheel was pretty impressive.
Well, thanks. I hadn't done one of those in a while, and I don't know who mentioned about having a sore shoulder, about how their shoulder wouldn't hold up. Maybe that was Big Carp. But yeah, that next day my shoulder was a little sore. I was like,
Mm.
"Damn, fat ass!
Well, that's the true test of
Yes.
strength, according to Jess
You need
Esney.
to stop." That's right. That's right.
I have more on that, but I would like to hear because we don't get a lot of like the new crew people. Um,
Yeah.
so you've listened to us for a while. You've seen us all post our pictures and everything like that. You've only been ordering now for about 4 months or so. What's the one thing that you see us all wearing that you go, "Ah, I wish I hadn't missed out on that? What's the one piece of clothing that you wish you had?"
Well, I know I could find it at a different unnamed company, but
No,
the Lift T-shirt, the Miller Lite,
the Weekend Warrior, I
that
call it.
that one, that T-shirt, because if I need to hydrate, I'm drinking Miller Lite.
Hmm.
So that T-shirt would be the one. I would probably bribe somebody for that one, but I won't say.
Well,
I don't
if
know
you
what
show
my
up to the
price would
Arnold or
be.
the Lift Hard Live Easy, there's a solid chance they'll have them for sale.
There's a
They
chance.
usually, well, they usually, so that's one they can't sell on the website, but they can do a sneaky, and I really wouldn't even say they do a sneaky link for crew because they pretty much take them to physical. They take them to the Lift Hard and they take them to the Arnold and they pretty much sell
Yeah.
out, I think. So
Well,
you're,
that's good to know. That's a good bit of
um,
info.
it's just, yeah, it's the Buddy Light one I don't think we'll ever get back, even on a sneaky
Oh,
link.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Leak.
Do you know what your are how high in the 400 your supporting membership number is?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am 453.
It's not bad.
I am out there.
You'll be so your goal I guess will be to, get into the 300s at some point, or I mean
Yeah,
that wouldn't be great for us, but I mean it's the only way you can go. Like you have, I
it's
think
true. It's true.
everyone that wants to get a bigger number, the people in front of them got to go down.
Yeah, it's all right. It's all right.
All right, so we'll definitely get into a lot of your business story and all that. I guess we can do as much. I'm going to do least fun, most fun here. So relatively new segment. The one I'm going to ask you here for least fun, most fun, you just tell me you can elaborate as little or as much as you want on any of the topics and kind of go off in any tangents you want, kind of like I do. So least fun, most fun, being a small business owner.
Ooh, um, most fun. I'm gonna say just all the people that I've got to meet along the way, like, and just to see the reach that you can garner. And um, one of the craziest things, and is so like my boys, now they're 25 and 20. But when they were in high school and before, and they were always gaming, and they would talk about their friends through their gaming, their games and the internet and whatnot, and they would just talk about their friends. I'm like, listen, guys, these are not your friends. These are just some. You don't have no clue who they are. And anyway, and fast forward, I start this. I start this whole gig, and then now I'm like, when I go to home gym con, I'm like, I'm gonna go see all my internet friends.
Yeah.
Like,
Absolutely.
and but seriously, there's still like meeting people from everywhere, talking to people from everywhere, whether it's every state in the in the US or just countries. It is that is the most exciting thing. Just to be able to start something and see like how far it can go. When in reality you're just taking a chance just to see what would happen, and so that's pretty wild. The least fun of it um, is not making a paycheck out of it. Like it is slow going at times, and just the ups and downs and where you're at. And 8 months ago, I was talking to my wife, going, I don't know how much longer this is going to last. This I might have to put a timeline on it and say, well, it was a good run. We had a good time. But anyway, so just those ups and downs, man, they can be soul crushing at times.
I imagine such what do you have like four? You have basically the Barbell Rescue, and then you sell like three different color inserts. They're like the replacement inserts. So, and every time you got
Yeah.
to order, you got to what kind of quantity do you have to order stuff in? Like 500, give or take,
Uh, no, my manufacturer. Well,
thousands.
so yeah, like minimum order quantities overall has to be 3,000 units. But then I have
Ooh.
to do. But then
So then
and
you're
that's
sitting on like 30 grand of fucking inventory for
whew,
until it's
yeah.
gone.
So like it can. Yeah, it's and I've been told that they have been like my manufacturer has been more than accommodating as far as MOQs go, and
Mm.
so like he's been good to me, but he was even nice enough to do like a half order recently,
Hmm.
and I fully expected him to just jack up the price per unit, and but he was actually, I don't even think it changed. It might have dropped
Oh, nice.
a few pennies each. So yeah, it's a few thousand, and then each color has to be. Maybe this is too much. I don't care. It's like
So
500.
what?
The
I
500
was
for each color.
I was just laughing because what's a penny?
Yeah. I know.
Oh,
Over a few.
it's a lot.
Over a few.
It's a lot time thousands.
No, well, no,
Over a
in
few.
Canada we actually don't deal in pennies
Oh,
Oh,
anymore.
you fucking
Right? Everything gets
loonies and the
rounded up or
coonies and
down. If it's not debit or
that's right.
credit, if it's cash, it just
That's
gets
it.
rounded up to 5 cents.
That's
We don't
that's
have.
right.
oh,
It's
Yeah.
one of
What
the
is?
biggest culture shocks of going to America is you get handed pennies. One of the
You're like,
biggest, and you're just like, the fuck is this? Like I haven't had these in a decade.
what am I gonna
hmm.
do with this?
Yeah, this is worth
Yeah. So
1.3 pennies in Canada. Like, what am I gonna do with this?
yeah, absolutely nothing.
Okay.
Well, thanks for the insight, because obviously, I mean, we've already alluded to it. We know, what you do, who you are. You are Barbell Rescue. And give me a second here to inflate your tires. Great product. It was one of those ones that
Thank you.
I wasn't even on my radar until we got the code unpaid. It was on my radar, but like not something to buy. And then out of
Sure.
nowhere, he's like, oh, no, we've got a code for this. And I was just like, okay, cool. And then I'm looking at my stupid straight barbell rush and I'm
My
just like,
lord, you can.
yeah. And I was just like, well, now I kind of want that one. Right.
Pretty
And
sweet.
you've probably seen it. Like, I'm a big proponent. If I see one, I'm tagging you, I'm tagging the person. Like, I'm all over
Yep.
social media. If I even see somebody using one, I'm just like, I know what that is. Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tagging
You
you.
did that recently, and it was great.
Yeah, with Shelby, I think, C Shelby.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even like I was at a meet and they had this. Uh, so the meet I was at, they just changed gyms. I'll give you the insight to this one. And the new gym, they were using the straight barbell brush, but I knew for a fact, I've been to this gym before, there's a barbell brush somewhere.
Barbell rescue.
Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a barbell rescue somewhere in the old gym. So I'm seeing these guys struggle to like, and I go running over. I'm like, no, we're not doing that. Like, if I'm here, you guys are using a barbell rescue. So I went and found the
Nice.
barbell rescue and brought it over to make sure it was on the live stream because it was the meet that Mitchell Hooper was at.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and in my head,
No
I was
way.
just like, there's
That's
no way
awesome.
we're using anything but a barbell rescue with Mitch Hooper in the room. Right. So, like
Man.
it's such a, how didn't anybody before you, like, how didn't anybody think of this before this? And,
Yeah.
I've got one. I tell all my friends to use it, all my gym owner friends. I'm like, just get one, use code unpaid. Like we'll save you at least $5 on it. Right. Which is mostly the
Yeah.
shipping, to be honest with you.
Yep.
So tell
Yep.
us
Pretty much.
a little bit, if you don't mind, how that came to be in your head, how you were looking at
Uh.
whatever was going on
Yeah.
and went, there has to be a better way. And thus we have this.
Yeah. Well, first, like to hear that story, like that's even even 2.5, 3 years later, like that's still like it. It's mind boggling to me to hear those kind of like comments about things, and man, uh, yeah, it hits me right in the feels. Yeah, so like how it all started. Again, I was coaching CrossFit at the time, and I was when I kind of realized that like owning a gym was not going to be kind of in my favor. Um, for whatever reason, I started looking at like, okay, well, I've met a lot of gym owner friend, like a lot of gym owners traveling from the military and such, and a lot of them have become friends. And I would always ping them questions about owning a gym and what it was like, blah blah blah. And then I thought, well, maybe there's like, it was just this random, like, how can I, maybe I can help them out. Like, how can I help these gym owners like run their business? Because I already had this like ember burning, of like, I want to be a small business owner. And when my wife joined, like, started selling real estate when we moved up here, like, I thought, well, maybe I'll do something. I'll help her do something. But then, it was like, okay, well, how can I help these gym owners run their business better? And it became like, well, what's the shittiest job for a gym owner? And for whatever reason, barbell maintenance came up. I had honestly never ever cleaned a barbell in my life. I had zero clue what was going on, and like they say, sometimes it takes an outsider to kind of find an intuitive way. And anyway, it was like one day I'm like looking at videos on YouTube on how to clean barbells, and it was like, why the hell are we using a flat brush on a round object? Like, this is very inefficient. And away I went. I started Googling brushes, cylindrical brushes, round brushes, whatever adjective you could figure out. And I started Googling. I was like, nope, 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 nothing, 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 nothing. I found a like a flexible brush for ropes, but it was kind of a weird shape. And I was like, well, that's not what I have in mind. But I bought a couple of them. I cut them all up into a bunch of little pieces, and then I found a water bottle in the house, and I kind of had this idea of what I wanted. And anyway, I cut up this water bottle. I put in these like little flexible brushes, and I said I need a insert because I need customers to come back. And I put a bunch of duct tape around it, kind of made this little C clamp thing. And I tried to, like, at the Home Gym Con, I've had the original prototype there, and then I try to show it off every once in a while on Instagram, just kind of see where it came from. But anyway, and then I I showed it to a couple buddies of mine that were gym owners, and I said, I think you might be onto something. And I looked at my wife and I said, I think I got to go after this. And away I went. And every day that I would search Google for like for like a year straight, I was waiting for my dreams to be crushed, and I was just going to fold up shop as soon as I saw anything remotely close. And somehow there was nothing remotely close, and I just kept on. And then it was like on the grind, like, let's go. I wasn't since I was still active duty. It was still kind of a hobby at that point, but it was kind of the slow go. I'll just see how it works, and it's all kind of fallen into my favor, I guess.
Amazing.
And we all get a benefit from it.
Well, yeah, and it definitely is like, now we all have this incredible barbell brush, and it's in. I know it's in Canada and the U.S. Is it international as well? People are ordering from other continents. Do you ship overseas?
Yeah, it's all it's international for sure.
Hell yeah.
So the very first international company that I had buy from like a wholesale kind of ordeal was actually a company out of Sweden, and they at that point when they reached out, I was like, what is happening? Like, this is insane. Like, not possible. But anyway, since then, I mean, especially, well, I will back up and say in September, October, I had a good run on Instagram with some reels and such that kind of took off, and it gave me a lot of international exposure. So I just closed a deal with a company in Costa Rica. I closed a deal with a company in Australia. I do have one in the UK that's been there for a little while. The gym company, he's been selling the brushes for probably a year, working on one in Portugal.
Wow.
Oh, I always want to say Denmark, but it's not Denmark, because I'm a big geography guy like Keith.
How many New Yorks fit into it?
Yeah.
One of the Denmarks.
Yeah. It's close. It's north. Anyway, so trying to get my footprint in Europe. But there's a few others pending out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, South Korea, a couple in Australia. I talked to somebody in Greece. Croatia was somebody like this company out of Croatia reached out, and I'm like, I have never been on Google Translate so much in my life until 6 weeks ago.
You
I'm like,
had mentioned
I
something about. Yep. You had mentioned all 50 states earlier. I think just in conversation. Do you think you've sold a brush to all 50 states? Has anyone ever like
I
checked all your order invite? That'd be kind of a cool thing to check if you haven't.
I think I think I have, and it was I feel like it was Wyoming that was like one of the last to go.
Pretty
But
cool.
I remember looking it up probably last year sometime. But yeah, and I feel like I even made a post about it. It was like I kind of called out those couple states that were still lacking. But I feel like it was Wyoming and then somewhere up in the Northeast, like in New Hampshire or Vermont or something like that.
Yeah, those are
But
small states compared to New York, which is a large
Wyoming
state.
is
yeah,
small compared to New
No, he just
York.
said
yeah,
fucking New
yeah.
Hampshire. Dick cheese.
I think we'll give you the benefit of that. Well, you meant population, correct?
All right, yeah.
Wyoming population. There's
I
like
wasn't talking about Wyoming. I was just talking about the
700.
two goddamn
I'm
Northeast states you
I'm
just fucking
teasing.
stated.
Relax. Those are maritime states.
Mhm. I gotta
No,
marinate in
and
time.
that's incredible. So then you went into the oil, right? Like most of us are using Seafoam or 3-in-1, but now we have
Yeah,
like
That's
a
fucking
specific oil
disgusting.
from you. What is?
No, just like my conversation with Kim year one at Home Gym Club was just so memorable
yeah,
because I was like, I loathe the smell of, like 3-in-1 oil. Also because I have my gym's in the basement, so if I use 3-in-1 down there, my whole house will smell
Yep,
like 3-in-1
yep.
for a literal day.
yeah.
Same thing with like WD-40. Like I don't want to use those
I've
chemicals. My
never
wife,
used WD-40 once in my gym, like
Mhm.
because of that reason. Like it smells so bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
three and
yeah,
one's right up there with it.
yeah. That conversation we had about being in the basement for me that had never really like entered my mind for whatever reason. For me, like okay, 3-in-1. You know, I'm not gonna say like don't use it. It's cheap, it's easy, you can find it. But yeah, like the fumes, like that's where it's at. Like,
Yeah.
whereas the stuff that I, I found about the original manufacturer and started digging into it, and I was like, this is what you need. Like
And then
non-toxic odor, green, it fits all those matches as far as like a premium product. And that's kind of where that's where I sit the brush at as the premium product. And uh, they all got to go together to some extent. I'm not gonna like I'm tight with my money, and I'm not gonna like just blow it on cheap stuff. And so I want the best that's out there. So that's kind of where I try to put Barbell Rescue with all of the products that go along with it.
and then
Nice.
just
I will give
go ahead.
a quick story. I was gonna piggyback it on yours about getting the barbell rescue brush at the Power Meet you were at. Similar to Arnold 2023, I think. Big Grant was having the deadlift competition, and his bar was completely covered in chalk, and he needed a deadlift, a barbell brush. He had no barbell brush. There was nothing that he could like borrow from someone, and I was like, my buddy Kim's right over there. Or actually, you weren't there, but I think who was it?
No,
It was Bear. Was Bear still
Sean.
selling it? Yeah. Someone, yeah,
Yeah,
another company had some of Kim's brushes there for sale, and so he went over and bought one of the brushes, and then I don't know if Grant still has it or if it's where if someone went home with it, but I definitely like that brush saved the day that day.
And
yeah. I
then
remember Sean telling me that story, and yeah, I don't know whatever
Yeah,
happened to it, but yeah, that was kind of this wild.
big
Like we
key.
need a brush.
Yeah, yep, yep. I directed him in the right place, I think.
and just to round that out now, the barbell brush is obviously good for chalk, dead skin, but it also helps with the oil application, which I have learned.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yep, it gets it into all the crevasses. I'm gonna go crevasses to bother the Davids, and
Maybe it's a crevices,
the
like
crevices. Yeah.
like a
The
Reese's.
the
Someone's been
Fucker, that was
listening.
good. That's
Um,
good.
yeah.
So many people fucking said that to me this weekend.
Oh,
To
we did
something
too.
that
We did. We
to that
weren't letting
extent.
that go away.
Well, the funny thing is, like, I don't remember what I say, and I don't remember what the real one is anymore. So I'm just like, half the time I don't get it. It just glazes over my head because I'm like, huh, and I'm like, oh, it is. It's not Reese's. It's Reese, or I don't. Maybe that's
Yeah.
right. I don't know. But yes, good Harkin, Kim. We know you listen. That's good stuff.
Boom.
So yeah. Anyway, code unpaid. You were awesome to give us. I think one of our first between you and one other one. I think you were the first one to give us a code, and I do think we've seen
No
some
problem.
success with that code. Because I know
definitely
even
the most.
even Tanner puts it out there whenever they talk about the barbell brush. Tanner's like, "Don't forget to use code unpaid," and like that's millions of listeners, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
out
pretty
of any of the
dope.
codes that we have, it's definitely the most lucrative might not be the right word, but it's definitely the most
Most
generous
widely
on your
used.
behalf. Well,
Most
no,
used.
but I mean, like
Oh, okay.
Kim's percentage is significantly more generous to the people using it, to his affiliates than anyone else that
We'll
we have
get
affiliates
Yeah.
with.
we'll get that speedboat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
someday.
Hell yeah. I can put the speed bit out there. Yeah. I think Tanner threw it out there just on Monday's episode.
Yep.
With the gifts. So yeah, that's always awesome. And
And
yeah,
yep.
you guys have been so good to me. Like, there's no reason to not give what I mean. I could give more. I wish.
No.
But
We'll
yeah,
take what we
yeah,
can
you
get.
guys are awesome. You guys
I
are
mean,
awesome.
let's not take away from you also being a part of the cartwheel challenge, which was not
Oh yeah,
planned. It was not planned at
No,
yeah.
all.
Someone just
not at
added him to the
all.
group chat, and I was like, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That works.
It was either me or Nate. Somebody was just like, well, we should probably just get Kim involved. And
Yeah,
then Kim
that's
was like, well, I'm going to up the ante and give more prizes. And we were just like, okay, like we're not going to complain about it. But
Yeah.
remember, I went into that with no prizes. I was just like, I'm going to put the challenge out there and I'll figure out the prize later.
Yeah.
And then you guys went crazy.
When I got added to that text group, I had no clue what the hell was happening. I was like, what did it, what happened here? Like, why am I, okay, let's go.
Yeah. And sometimes with the crew, that's how you got to be, because that's how I
Yeah,
came up
that
with the
was, that's all.
challenge, no prize in mind. And then I remembered Carp said he wanted to do a barbell
Yeah.
barbell rescue prize, because he had a couple left over from one of your big sales. And then,
Yep.
yeah, it just went from there. And like you were amazing back to us. So always amazing, thrilled to have you as a partner on Unpaid and Underrated, and therefore by proxy, the Massonomics podcast, because obviously Tanner appreciates you as well. So that's enough business talk.
Yeah.
Let's start learning about Nurse Kim here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So is that what brought you
So
to
is-
Alaska? Because you are a nurse.
I am a nurse. I've been a nurse since 2012. No,
What,
2009 is
so
when I
you
became a nurse.
are you a registered nurse practitioner? Like what level of nursing do you
Yes,
do?
registered nurse. To be an officer in the military, you have to have a 4-year degree. So I got the bachelor's in nursing, or a BSN, if I want to be official. Yeah, so I graduated in 2009 from an itty bitty nursing school in Oklahoma. And yeah, when I had no clue that I would ever be a nurse. That was never, ever on the Kim, when you graduate, you're graduating from high school. What are you going to be when you grow up? You're going to be a nurse. Hell no. Like, that's not going to happen.
So wait, so you were a cheerleader in high school,
I cheered 1 year in high school. Yes,
but
I did.
hell no to being a nurse? Like, let me.
That's a good. That's a good point.
Yeah, I feel like the pipeline is small.
Yes. Yeah. So that's weird. It doesn't make any sense.
I
I don't
actually
like how
consider.
I don't like how
So you
you
said
spun that.
Actually, I had considered nursing for quite some time as well, until
Yeah.
somebody had a seizure in front of me, and I was the only person to react with composure, and then went, "No, I'm never doing that again."
Never doing that again.
Yeah, nope,
Yeah.
nope.
Yeah, nursing came about because, well, I guess how much backstory do you want?
Whatever you want to
When I
share,
was
whatever
gonna
you're comfortable with.
when I was gonna join the Air Force, so again, this was early 2001. I was already married, Can you hear our smoke alarm going off?
Yeah.
Yeah, do you
Yeah.
need to go
So
take care of that? Because that's
no,
probably
no, it's
important.
so no. It just means we're cooking. We have this.
Okay.
We bought our
Cooking
house,
with
and there's
gas.
this smoke alarm that is like right next to the kitchen.
Hmm.
And anyway, so anytime you open the oven, all that heat just. I'm sure it's got to be a direct line to the smoke alarm. And anyway, so
And
it's
I'll
not
tell
been.
you, I have one too. There's one. The kitchen is right next, so the kitchen goes into the bathroom and the three bedrooms, and there's one
Yeah,
directly in the hallway there. But because of the way that the draft works through the house, where all the
yeah,
air intake goes, and then the fan in the bathroom, any heat, any smoke,
yeah,
this thing panics. Like if you're cooking
yeah.
bacon in the oven, it's going off. Like it's going off no matter what.
That's exactly it. No, it's like you remember like on Mary Poppins before like the hour's gonna strike and the captain shoots the cannons and then all the everything shakes all over the house.
Mm.
Do you remember that in Mary Poppins? No,
I'm gonna say
anybody?
yes, just so the story
Any-
continues.
Anyway, so you just man the battle.
The only time you weren't argumentative
Like
this week.
yeah. Anyway, so anytime we get ready to open the oven and we're cooking, we're like, man the battle stations. And so it's usually somebody standing with a pillow or a
Yeah,
hat or
with
something.
you got the
Just
flyers. You got the
And
flyers.
waiting.
Yeah.
just
And
move the
that's all
smoke
I think
alarm
of.
like 3 feet down the hall.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
for the
what are
longest
we,
time,
big construction?
yeah,
Yeah.
for the longest time, I took it out and I just zip tied the wires kind of off. And, but then I thought, well, that's maybe not so safe.
Oh,
Right.
it's
I
a
might,
hardwired there.
yeah, it's hardwired.
Okay, yeah, so you can't really move
Yeah.
that.
Yep. I'd
That's
rather it
lame.
go
Yeah.
off when it shouldn't than not go off when it should.
No, that's
Yeah.
facts if
Yeah.
it's hardwired.
Exactly. So, anyway, what was, oh, okay. So,
So nursing.
so nursing, back to that. So when I was already married. I grew up in a Mennonite church, so like a
Oh
conscientious
wow.
objector, the pacifist kind of church. And anyway, so for me wanting to join the military was kind of a big deal.
I
And
imagine.
anyway, I kind of like one, um, I lessened it by saying, "Hey, I'm going to join the medical world," and then two, I had already, because I was 22, 23 before I enlisted. And anyway, and so I already had some friends that were coming back that were in the Army or the Marines, and they were, either grunts or bomb loaders or something like that. And I'm like, well, that's not going to carry you over to the civilian world whenever you get out. And
Thinking
so
man.
anyway, so I decided to do something on the medical world, and I was kind of looking at that when I was in college anyway. After I had already been through like 7 other majors, and anyway, so like once I finally decided I was going to join the Air Force, I was like, okay, I'm going to put every medical job on the list, and we'll see what happens. And then the Air Force gave me surgery to be a surgery tech, and then I spent 5 years as a surgery tech, and then decided to apply for a commissioning program / nursing school, and it just kind of fell into place, and here I am, a nurse, um, working in surgery. Pretty great.
That is pretty dope.
Yeah, so
That
I
would be
just tell
like
everybody I just hang out in surgery and see all the blood and guts all day.
Yeah.
that's
I
gotta
just
be
hand him the what do they call it? Scalpel when he needs it. Yeah.
Scalpel?
I
so
just do
is
the
it
scalpel and the clamps.
as that type of
Yeah.
nurse, do you have to do like are you any like pre and post op stuff, or are you literally just a scrub nurse in the room
I'm
and then you get to go home after surgery?
uh, just strictly in the room,
That sounds
and
amazing. So you
there's
don't have to fucking have any. I mean, you have to have like, you can't be an asshole, but you don't have to have a bedside manner. You don't have to deal with annoying
Keith
fucking
really just
like.
wants to know how many
That sounds
catheters and penises
no.
you've
He hasn't listened. I
uh,
don't think he's listened long enough to get that joke.
countless.
Uh,
I have not heard the
that's fine.
joke, but countless. There's not too much I haven't seen.
No. I'm just saying, like,
I just
I
gave
think I
Keith
think that sounds like the
PTSD.
best. I think that sounds like the best. Like if I had to be a nurse, that would be the nurse that I would want to be. I don't want to deal with
It,
like not customers, but patients. Like you don't have to deal with
yeah,
talking patients and rude patients and just the
yeah. They're
general
not gonna
public.
and when you do talk to them, they're not going to remember you for too long because anesthesia is
like
right behind you with the meds.
come back from 10. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, yeah. So
You have a
no, it's
great
pretty
job.
good. But there's a lot of people that do not like it. It's just it's a completely different atmosphere than say like floor nursing or clinic nursing
Yeah.
or anything like that. It's
And the hours are going to
I
be
don't
decent too, right? You're not doing. I mean, are you doing surgeries at midnight I guess if you're on call, there's surgeries, but like.
Yeah, sure. It depends. Like, so right now I just work part-time at a surgery center, so it's no joke. Surgery is 7:30 to 3:30 for the most part. So we show up at
That's not
7.
bad.
But anyway, so that's kind of, the bread and butter for a surgery center. But, when you're talking the big hospitals or trauma, level 1 centers and such like that, now you're having 24-hour operations.
Yep.
You're a man for that. Or like, even the hospital I was at, before I retired here, on base, it was a normal, you know, 7 to 3:30, and but then you just had after hours, and so on call, and so that kind of all depends.
Mm-hmm.
It's really dependent on where you're at.
One day, they had somebody from the Air Force on Massonomics, and they brought up the phrase "the chair force."
They've had a few, yeah.
Now
Big Rob and then Andrew Hanahan.
yeah, I said that
Oh
once
yeah.
to somebody here in the RCAF, and they got offended. How do you feel about the phrase "the chair force"?
I'm not fit at all. Like whatever, like bring it. Like
He got
all right,
he got
like,
pretty mad. He was
yeah.
like, "You got to be really strong to be a pilot." And I was like, "Yeah, but how many of you are actually pilots?" And he was just like, "You know what, dude?"
That's a valid question. Like how many really are?
He was like, "You know what? Shut up." And I was like, "Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair question."
No, like I had a brother-in-law that was in the Marines, a brother-in-law that was in the Army, and a couple cousins Air Force. This is on the other side. This isn't the Mennonite side, obviously, but on the other side of the family was all military. That's kind of where I that's where I got the idea. But anyway, but yeah, I saw how they worked my Army and Marine brother-in-laws. I was like, I don't want that life. Like,
I'm not doing that.
no,
I'm not
like I
reading
mean,
all
you obviously, I mean, depending on what kind of job you got, like Kurt doing EOD and such like that, it's going to be a completely different world than being Air Force medical. And even then, I mean, there's opportunities to be like SOS T, I think is a surgical, like a
Was that sauce on
geez,
side or
I'm blanking here. Like a surgical operations team, like a special operations surgical team. And so, I mean, there's options to do things like that. But yeah, for the most part, cheer force away. Like
cheer force away. There's our title.
Yeah, I got it. Like okay.
how was
I mean,
how was lifting
was gonna
in Afghanistan when you were deployed? I'm sorry if you had something.
Probably hot as shit.
Yeah.
Well, I will say I got lucky in it. I got lucky in Afghanistan where both times I went was during the winter, and we were in Kabul, or not Kabul, North Kabul, in Bagram, and anyway, so we got lots of snow, and so it was fine. Like when they talk about being hot in the desert in Afghanistan, I'm like, that's not where I'm at, and so yeah, I was lifting with a beanie and a hoodie on inside the tent.
Should we move it? Like it's been an hour and a half here. Should we go?
Yeah, let's go to FMK because we're gonna end up going way
Hit
long.
me.
Oh goodness.
All right, Kim, I got a FMK here for you. So we're gonna go a little country music bands. So not artists. So I had to cherry pick my three that would resonate with you, I think, here. So FMK.
Ooh.
We're gonna go Brooks and Dunn, Alabama, and Sawyer Brown. FMK.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat,
Dunn, Alabama, Sawyer Brown.
I am killing Brooks and Dunn.
Oh wow.
I do not care for them. Like
any of the songs,
they got a couple,
like they got some like
they're okay, but man,
some
like
good, yeah.
like I just don't get it. Which one has he would never wear a hat?
Yeah,
his hair was like
I struggle with
get
their
at
names,
it,
but yeah.
like get it.
They
Ronnie
got a couple
Dunn.
bangers. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
Ronnie and Kicks, right? Kicks
Kicks.
Brooks and
Yeah.
Ronnie Dunn.
Anyway, so like that one,
Okay,
I
so
would
killing
probably,
Brooks and
yeah,
Dunn. So
killing Brooks and Dunn pretty
you got
quick,
Alabama and Sawyer
and
Brown.
Alabama and Sawyer Brown. Um, I'm probably gonna. Hmm. Who would I marry there?
Yeah, was it Joey always says
You know, what's that?
was it Mary the one that you get basically get every night, and then the F is for kind of the one and done.
The one and done. I'd probably do F is probably Alabama, but Sawyer Brown, man, I can listen to
You
them
like
and
Sawyer Brown? I love that. That makes me
I
happy. Not to, not to,
they man, I remember some of the
they
first
got
times that I listened to them and they'll bring you to tears. There's a few
yeah, they
songs
got
out
some
there
good
that
ones.
will just punch you right in
They
the
haven't
tear
done
ducts.
I feel like they haven't done anything memorable in 25 years. I think Tanner even
No,
mentioned that
no.
a couple of weeks, like in the last like 6 months or so. But I was like listening to him a little bit tonight, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna add that to the topic.
Yeah, the last one that I remember was like this some sort of temple. I don't know if it had like there was some Christian undertones to it, but there was a few songs on there. That was the last one that I remember. But gosh, that's been ages ago.
I personally have at least 3 or 4 other songs on my country playlist, so it's
Absolutely,
they're still a keeper for
absolutely.
me. Good deal. Well, that's the FMK this week. You got a Rushmore for him, Joey?
I do, and I have one, but then I have some other questions about music. So I want to go the Mount Rushmore of Western TV shows.
Western.
I
Ooh,
hear you like Westerns.
yeah, I do. I love cowboy movies. I love
Hmm.
cowboy TV shows. Um,
You're the one that
on the
found the
T.
clip of me, right? Was that you
Yeah,
that posted the clip of
yeah,
me? I swear to God,
yeah.
that's fucking my doppelganger if I
Yeah,
ever saw one.
that was God. What do you? Oh, that was a Wide Earp documentary thing that I was
That's wild.
like like mini series that I was watching. That was hilarious. And I think gosh, that was great.
All right.
Um,
Sorry to
all right, so
hijack that.
Do we know how
that,
Mount Rushmore works? Like your top four that you would put up?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, top four. Um, well, Gunsmoke is going on there probably first thing to go.
Hmm.
Like, I mean that like 20 plus seasons. Um, anyway, so I'm going Gunsmoke, and of course it's Kansas, it's Dodge City. Why not? TV show, man. Who else can I put on that? I'm gonna blank. I'm thinking about is movies and miniseries right now.
Miniseries count.
Uh,
Do you want to do
yeah.
movies and miniseries? Like, do you want to include like just
Well, I could.
yeah? Let's just do
Well,
it to make your life a little easier. Just like
yeah.
westerns.
So like,
Let's go westerns
yeah. So
broad.
like, yeah. So I just started watching it again. And I don't watch too many movies or series eyes.
Series, yeah, it's like Reese's. It's
Series
series.
Reese's multiple times, but I just started
Sarah
watching
Cody.
Hell on Wheels on Netflix.
That's a good
Hmm.
one.
Or I think
Helen was really
I think
good.
it's now on the Hulu. But anyway, absolutely loved
Generally
Hell on Wheels.
AMC.
Yeah, absolutely loved Hell on Wheels. And then I got to throw we'll throw a movie in there. I got to throw usually on the Western world you're either like a John Wayne or an Eastwood fan, and I'm more on the John Wayne side of the house.
Hmm.
And I love The Shootist. It's like one of his last movies, if I remember right, and he actually dies in the movie. Spoiler alert. But it has Ron
She says
Howard in it.
spoiler.
Ron Howard's a little kid,
Way to be young as shit.
or a
Yeah,
younger
okay. I
one.
was like, fucking Opie
But
had to be a baby.
I love that one for some reason. I have no clue because he's not even like a big a gunslinger at that point. It's like this old washed up I won't say washed up, but just an old time cowboy who's
Those are
at the end of his life.
in my opinion, from the ones I've watched. I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
Right. Those are
Yeah,
the best ones.
Yeah. And then I'll go back to my childhood. And this is not maybe this will give me some flack, but saying that I'm not a real fan, but Back to the Future 2, when he when he goes back to the West, I absolutely love that one. Like,
Okay. No, that's fair.
That's the third one. That's the third one.
Was it? Kate?
Yes, 100%.
Gu-
1,000,000%.
Gunsmoke, Hell on Wheels, Shootist.
No, no, it was Back to the Future 3. I'm saying
Yeah.
not how many you've mentioned. It was Back to the Future 3
Oh,
that he went to the West.
was
Yeah.
it 3 that he
Not,
went?
yeah.
Oh,
No,
because he went to the
that was
future.
the
Yeah,
that was the
God,
one I was saying is the
that's
yeah. No,
embarrassing.
I wasn't
What
telling
an
you only had
idiot.
3 Mount Rushmores. I was telling you that you
Yeah.
I
blazed
thought you
wrong.
were telling me 3.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
thank you.
it's
Thanks
really
for
embarrassing not
correcting
knowing
me.
your Michael J. Fox movies.
Yeah, what an idiot. But I will say this
Yeah,
much.
dude.
Tombstone's right up there too, because
Yep.
You don't like
Yeah.
Deadwood? The show?
skin that meat wagon. I'm going to be honest. I've yet to see that one, and I
You've
don't
seen
know why
Deadwood and
I
you like
haven't.
westerns? It's like the
I
best
don't even know what.
modern. I mean, it's modern. It's
Yeah,
just 20 years old now, but
somebody
like
was.
Al
Yeah,
Swearinger is fucking great. But also, if you don't
yeah.
like super like sweary and coarse and gory, like you might not like Deadwood. If you like
Well,
more
there's.
just like homey, like shit from the 50s, like you stick with that, I guess.
I enjoy a classic wholesome
Yeah,
style.
it's not that.
And then you got to worry about because then you got to worry about some westerns where it's like it starts turning a little sci-fi,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, it
that's
was like
no.
Cowboys and
I went
Aliens.
like I went like authentic. I thought authentic as it can be. Obviously, I realize that Back to the Future is a little different there, but for the most part, I like realism.
What the last
There
one
you
I
go.
watched, and I just want to see both of you two. Old Henry.
Mm, I think it's on my watch list. I haven't seen it.
No,
Yeah,
okay. It's
yeah,
that
you got me.
it's that one guy. God, I wish I could remember his name. He's awesome in everything. Let me get his name. It's Tim Blake Nelson. So Tim
Gosh.
Blake Nelson, he was in On My Radar from Oh Brother Where Art Thou.
Mhm.
He was in that one that he played Buster Scruggs. He was in Buster Scruggs. He was Buster Scruggs, I think. But in this one, he plays just some guy who wants to retire and he's living on his land. And just this guy that's been shot shows up. And it turns out he's Billy the Kid. Like I'm gonna give you the spoiler. But I mean, it's
Spoiler.
if you watch half the movie, you'll know. But he's Billy the Kid after he escapes the police and retires and all that. That movie,
Yeah,
even with that spoiler, that was an incredible Western.
yeah, I do. I had to look it up, but yeah, I do remember seeing. I have watched that.
Mhm.
Um,
I
yes,
enjoyed that.
that was. Yeah, that was one of those that as I like search westerns on Netflix or whatever else, and you start watching, you're like, okay, yeah, I can watch this one. Yeah, that one was definitely one I watched.
And then just like if you want to give me a quick, it doesn't have to be quick. We still have some time here. I hear you like we focused mostly on country, but I hear you like all genres of music. So what are your Mount Rushmore of
Yeah.
songs right now from different genres? Like if you can give me your like I like this hip hop, I like this metal, I like this country. Like what are your like top songs that like you're going, but each one from a different genre?
Oh gosh, shit. That's tough because I find myself in rabbit holes,
Me too.
for uh, like years at a time.
Mm.
Um, you know, obviously country throws is in there. And country is kind of its own little ordeal anyway, as far as like, Keith's 90s country, which
Mhm.
is actually my wife's her favorite. Some of the newer stuff, obviously classic 70s, 80s, 50s, 40s. But anyway, so obviously country's going to go on there. Jazz I have to throw on there because I played jazz band
Wow.
You
high
played the
school
flute.
and college.
People won't
I
know
played the
that.
flute. I played the flute in fifth and sixth grade. That's where I got my start.
So did my wife. So yeah,
Yeah,
that's fair.
yeah, yeah. I was forced into it. I hated my band teacher for that, but that's an old scar that
Mhm.
is still there.
Again, we relive trauma here. That's what we do on Unpaid and
Yeah,
Underrated.
thank you. I remember arguing with my
Pick
band
those
teacher in
wounds.
fifth grade about this. I'm like, no, I want to play the saxophone. We have too many saxophones. Anyway, needless to say, seventh grade, as soon as he needed some different instruments, I ran away from the flute as fast as possible. But jazz is always on there because I've always loved the big band, um, kind of era. And then, Metal is on there, man, late 90s, early 2000s. I've been in my fair share of mosh pits. And in that regard, we're talking on the Pantera side of the house, still one of the best concerts. That was a rowdy, rowdy concert. And so was that the three? That was three. And then I got to throw some classical in there because, and we're talking like Vivaldi. He's probably my favorite.
Tchaikovsky
down.
goes hard.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
All right. That's me from Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, I got two or three the funny or embarrassing stories. I at least two of them I want to touch on. So, what was the overall record for losing streak at your Kansas high school football team that you guys were so bad? Like, actually, I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess. Oh man, so to be that relevant, it's got to be like 4 years straight or 3 years straight, right? What are we talking? How many seasons with no victories?
So it was the total was 26 games, and this is
okay. So 2.5
so we
years.
were two. We won
3 years
we
almost.
won Yeah, we won my first game my junior year, and then lost rest of the season, all of my senior season.
Yeah.
And then the following year,
Oh, that's brutal.
they lost all of those games. And we still, every time, like in the local news, when they bring up about what Hutch football used to be like, we always come up as the longest losing streak. And I'm like, made the paper again 30 years later.
Nailed it.
That's great.
We were horrendous. And we scored, my senior year, we scored a whopping 18 points. No, 20 points. We scored 3 touchdowns. We didn't have a kicker, so we couldn't score an extra point. And then we had 1 safety.
That's wild.
No.
So I guess you guys just weren't good at playbooks, and you probably weren't good at maps either, because it looks like you got lost hunting once.
Lifting was not on our docket, I guess. Yeah. I pride myself in land nav, but I lost the shit out of here on one of my first big hunting excursions. And I had gone on a couple small. I never hunted until I moved up here. And I thought, man, this is what I want. I want to give this a try. I had been with a couple friends on some very low maintenance, if you will. And anyway, I put in for this moose. No, it was a caribou hunt. And I got a tag, and it was to this unit that a buddy of mine who grew up hunting and had been hunting in Alaska for 10 plus years had never been. And anyway, I decided to take my 14-year-old son with me. And so it's the 3 of us, and we go 4-wheeling it. We park our trailer and whatnot, and then we hop on the 4-wheeler and we go out. And we're riding around all freaking day long. And we finally see this group of, man, I don't know, 7, 8 caribou. And we're like, man, we got to get something because we're only out here for a couple days. And so we go after this, and it's one of those all these false ridge lines. And you're like, oh, it's just one more ridge line. Oh, it's just one more ridge line. Well, we just kept on going.
It's 30.
Yeah, and we finally get close to this. Group, and it's we make our plan. We're like, okay, I'm going to go around to the right. And anyway, so I downed this caribou, and it was not impressive. It was nothing to write home to mom about. But anyway, it was a downed caribou, and so my buddy and my son were like, okay, well, by that time we had already hiked in, I don't know, an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. We had already hiked away from our 4-wheelers to kind of catch up with these guys, with these caribous. And anyway, he's like, well, my buddy goes, I'm going to start. And my buddy, he's 10 years older than me. He goes, I'm going to start quartering the animal. If you can go back and go get the bags and whatnot and bring a 4-wheeler around. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Not a problem. And so I go hiking out back to the 4-wheelers, and all of a sudden all these clouds move in, and
Oh, no.
every point of reference is gone. And I'm like, oh shit, this is not good. And anyway, I get to where I think the four-wheeler should be, and there is nothing in sight. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to some land nav skills that I learned in the military when I was doing some training with the Army. And I'm like, I had to drift left, and so all right, I'm going to go right, and I go about a quarter of a mile, and there's the four-wheelers, and I'm like, perfect, right where they needed to be. And then I tried to hop on the four-wheelers and go around, and there was too much side hill, and I about rolled the four-wheeler. And at that time, I hadn't really ever ridden a four-wheeler, just a couple times.
Oh,
So I was
jeez.
way out of my comfort. I was really out of my comfort zone at this point. And I was like, well, I'm just going to take this bag, and I'll just hike back. And anyway, of course, I'm side hill. So then I try to walk up this hill, and I am gassed at this point. This bag, I don't know what the hell my buddy had in it. It was like 80 pounds. It wasn't 80 pounds, but it was heavier and
Felt
shit.
like
And
it.
it wasn't a backpack. It was like a DeWalt tool bag. So you're just like
Oh,
Farmer's carry.
no.
trying to go up this hill. And I get to this point where I'm doing this heave ho, and they're like, this is stupid. F the bag. I'm done. I'm just gonna go get them. I got a couple game bags, and I'm just gonna go find them. And then I'm walking back, and I'm like, I have no clue where they're at. And so I'm walking. I know I'm walking south, and I know they're in this general direction as I hold my arms out, and I just start walking, and I'm going, shit, I am about ready to be a statistic. This is every statistic that the military has told me not to be. And I am about this dumbass newbie to Alaska decided he's going to go hunting and get lost. And so I'm just walking. The wind is blowing in my face. So every time I try to yell for my son or my buddy, they're not hearing nothing. And then I feel like I've been out there forever. And then out in the distance, I see this little silhouette of my son. And I'm like, oh, that's him. I get up to him, and I'm just like, oh God, I'm so happy to see you. And he's 14, right? And his first comment is, where's the bag? Where's the tool bag? And I was like, screw you. I spent the last hour just about dying. And then anyway, so we walk back to my buddy Lee, and then we get back, and he looks at me and he goes, where's the bag? I'm like, fuck you and your bag. I'm just happy to see somebody. And anyway, it probably took us 2 or 3 hours to finally get back to our camp. We got back to a campsite, and we asked these guys where we were at, and they're like, oh, you got to go 15 miles, go back to the road and go another 50. We were all over the damn place. And since that day, I have never gone anywhere without any sort of GPS or trusting anybody else.
Man.
I have control issues ever since then.
Mhm.
I will have GPS. I will have every form of communication that I can get. I was like, that was the stupidest thing I think you could find. But then Alaskans, you start talking to them, and it's like, oh yeah, I did that once. Oh yeah, and like, oh, is this like a rite of passage? You just have to have a near-death experience to be out here. Okay, I guess this is normal.
Well, to follow up on that, you were talking about different types of communication. I hear you you like to sing your communication sometimes in random thoughts at the office with your wife. She basically put it as while we were stationed in Alaska together, we would random thoughts in the office would pitch in. I'm assuming that might not have been your wife. I'm guessing I don't know, someone you were stationed with. I'm not sure. Is that a story?
Well, just in general. So okay, so if I could sum up my last duty station,
duty,
as far as duty, prior to retiring, if you could blend Parks and Rec with The Office, but in a military
Nice.
OR world, we lived it. And so yeah, you would walk by, somebody would say something, somebody would break out in the song, and you would just continue, and the song would go on, and everybody would start chiming in. You're just like, this is glorious. How did I get here? This has got to be the epitome of all places. Yeah, I think we have a great.
Ah,
If I know who sent that, I think we have a great picture of us doing a like a Titanic boat scene. I think I was. I think
that's
he.
funny.
Yeah, I think I was. I was Big Spoon.
Nice. Unlike Big Matt, who was the little spoon with his wife, as he begrudgingly won't admit, but she told us. Um, I know we're running up against the wall here, but I don't get it in the notes very often. But here it is. It says you got a poop story, so you
Yeah,
got a Colorado poop
I
story
was
for
waiting.
us.
I was waiting for that.
We can
Yeah,
if we
you
can
know when I first.
keep it under 5 minutes if you can, because we got to get an
Well,
unpaid and underrated.
we'll see. When I first heard you guys talk about poop stories, I was like, God, though, I
You
got
got
a
a good
poop
one.
story. I do. Anyway, all right,
Take
let's see the
whatever.
scene.
Do what you got to do.
All right, so it's 2001. I'm in the Air Force Academy. I just joined the Air Force. That was my first duty station. Was at the Academy. I had a cousin who was a cadet at the time, and so they needed to sponsor. You know, you had to go get them off of the Academy grounds and whatnot. And anyway, we take him out to dinner. We're driving back. We drop him off at the Academy. Well, at his dorms, and then we live on base, but it's kind of this mountainous area, and everything is like all these like separate. Like you got the academy, you have the hospital, you have housing areas, and everything is very spread out and windy. And we had gone out to eat at some place that was like probably 20 or 30 minutes away, but when we went to drop him off, like my gut was not in a good place. And I was like, I don't think I'm going to make it back to the house. Like, I know we're only like 5 miles away, but this is not good. And I will blame like maybe some immaturity, my age. Maybe it was just the backup of gases in my body, and I couldn't think straight. But I said, there's all these like little scenic lookouts along the mountain drive, and I said, Laura, I'm going to pull over to one of these outlooks, and I'm just going to go. I'm just going to pee a little bit. Maybe I can offload some pressure, something. But this has got to end, and or I'm going to shit my pants in the truck, and this is not going to be good. Anyway, so we pull off to this little scenic outlook. I go trotting out into the trees, and then I'm standing. It's in the summer. It's nice out, and I'm standing there, just having a nice outdoorsy pee, and then all of a sudden, all hell broke loose, and shit went flying out of my shorts, like like right on my foot. I was like,
That's amazing.
oh dear God. And I look at Laura, and she looks at me, and I'm just like shaking my head like, this is not, oh God, like this just happened. Like this is unbelievable. So then I'm like, okay, well, I feel better. So that's good. So then like I got
Tend to do that.
that demon out of me. And so then I start walking back to the Explorer, and I go, I got to sit down. Like, oh no, like I got to. So anyway, I grabbed this jacket. I grabbed my like little starter jacket, and I'm just like, and just like slowly just sit in it, and I'm like, oh, God. Anyway, and so
That's why we
okay,
can't find any starter jackets nowadays. Is because you shit
yeah,
all over
that's
yours.
where, yeah,
That
it was my
Charlotte
favorite
Hornets
one
never
too.
look so brown.
Yeah, and so in the car, it's me, it's my wife, and it's my 3-year-old, maybe 4-year-old son at most in the back
He probably
seat.
just quit shitting himself.
Yeah, and
Pretty good dad.
that's where we think the story ends. And fast forward like 6 months, we're driving along. Like I have family in town, and we're showing them at the academy grounds and taking them on the all scenics. And all of a sudden, we round this corner, and out of nowhere, my son in the background just goes, "Hey, Dad!" And he points, "Hey, Dad, isn't that where you pooped your pants?" And then the whole like family like caravan is like, "What?" Like, Gage, that was supposed to be our secret. And now everybody
That's hysterical.
knows that. It's like, Dad, like, thanks, kid. I appreciate you.
Yeah,
Anyway, yeah, it was.
it's like a jar of
Appreciate it.
olives, eh? Like once that first olive comes out, all the other
Yeah,
ones are coming out. Like you didn't
yeah,
have a
yeah.
chance. Yeah, that makes
I
sense.
in retrospect, it was the dumbest thought process I think I've ever had. But at the time, I was like, I can do this. This is okay. No, not a chance. Not a chance.
That was good. We haven't had one of those in a while. So I think that'll wrap up our the
Yeah.
main portion of the interview, and we can segue in here to a little unpaid or underrated. Anyone listening for the first time, similar to overrated or underrated, we just substitute unpaid in there. So I'm going to hit you here, Kim. So use your druthers, as little as much as you want. Unpaid or underrated, the movie Mystery Alaska. Have you seen that hockey movie with Russell Crowe from the early 2000s? If not, I can substitute it with something else, I guess.
I have not seen it.
Ah, good movie. My favorite Alaska movie.
Yeah.
One of my favorite sports movies also. So
Yeah. What?
we'll
So
bypass that and we'll
what is
go
it?
into. It's called Mystery Alaska. So it's basically there are a bunch of it's in a very small Alaska. I think the town is actually called Mystery. I don't even know if it's a real town or just I think it's all a complete made up area. But
Yeah.
very small town, and they just like they have like a local team that just plays against each other. But I think they just more or less practice on like a frozen
Yeah.
lake, and it's like an honor to be on the team and everything. And there's a lot of like a lot of natives on the team and some like the white guys too and whatnot. But they end
Yeah.
up getting a team together. They end up getting an exhibition against like the New York Rangers. So then it's like a whole build up of like this team versus the New York Rangers, and Russell Crowe is like an aging sheriff who's like not fast enough to play anymore, but he won't let go. And there's an
Yeah.
older, I think Burt Reynolds is like the dad and the coach or something maybe, and there's some like one of the guys is fucking one of the other guy's wives, and then there's some teenagers, and I think like there's just it's a really good. It is one of my favorite
Yeah.
sports movies of all time, and
I'm surprised I
so
haven't heard of it. Like that's
yeah. I think it was like if I had to guess, it's like 99 to 01. So you would have been, busy shitting your pants.
yeah. Yeah, I was shitting my pants and yeah,
So that was
I was a newlywed shitting
Yeah.
my pants.
No time for movies. I got pants to
No time
shit.
for yeah,
so we'll pass on that one. But since I spent enough time on it, we might not even get a third one there. So unpaid or underrated bowling. I know you're a big bowling guy. What do you think about that?
oh, I love it. Underrated. Like I have hit my old man prime and it's where it's at. Like, you know,
Nice. You're actually in a league. It looked like from what I think you texted me
uh
last night saying you were about to go because Kim didn't do a great
I
job of getting his people to send me notes, and I had to kind of badger him kind of
yeah,
at
bunch of
the last minute, and he was like, "Well, I'm about to go to my bowling league, so I'll make sure I send some text out before I get too drunk." And I was like, "All right, buddy."
yeah. Yeah. Well,
So is
so
it your
like that's why
drinking
I had
league
to
than a
join
bowling league?
that's why I had to find a new group of friends because all my other ones are assholes and they don't respond. So I was like, these crew guys seems pretty good.
Well,
Um,
I'll badger the shit out of your DMs.
yeah. Uh, yeah. The bowling. What started out as just a little like, yeah, let's try it out. And next thing I know, I've been on this. While it's more of a beer league kind of ordeal, but it's far from
Yeah.
sanctioned. But yeah, you don't miss a week in the winter. Bowling and drinking is about all I know. Like that is where it's at. And we even
So this is
drag people into
uh,
it.
so side segue here. It'll show my ignorance of Alaska. Is it the entire country that goes dark or just certain parts? And are you in one of those parts that like gets the 6 weeks of darkness, or whatever?
Is Alaska a
Well,
country?
yeah, well, that's what
State,
I was
fuck
going to
off.
say first.
The state.
Like, well, first,
The
Alaska is
state.
a state.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
joined
yeah.
the United States, and
Well, I'm not the only one that misspoke today. You Mr. fucking Back to the Future 2 and Joey said
yeah,
some
yeah.
shit. Joey meant to
All
say
right, well, you
Barbell Rescue Brush and he said
Buddy,
barbell
it's not an attack. Like relax.
competition. I know. I know.
It's not an attack.
The fuck was my question? Oh, yeah,
is it
like
Yeah,
the
you're
darkness?
asking the thing
Yeah,
I was gonna
so
ask
yeah.
about unpaid and underrated.
oh,
No, it's not
well, do
on
we need
there.
to?
It's
It
not on
is.
there anywhere. The bullshit.
I actually put
No.
unpaid or underrated constant nighttime.
Oh, well, there you go.
Fucking guy. It's okay.
Yeah, it's
We are not
constant
professionals.
darkness. It's yeah,
Nope.
got it.
We're not. We're not
That's got to be
professionals,
like
brother.
one of my That's what got to be one of my favorite quotes. When you first brought that up, I was like, God, that's how I feel running this business. I'm like, I am not a professional.
Brother, we are not professionals.
You would like that. Do you listen to Grant's podcast, the OK podcast? It seemed like it'd be up your alley. It's very
No, I haven't.
military theme, but he's just a lot of I don't know. I think it would be up your alley.
No, I listen to outside of these two Massonomics and this podcast. I listen to a lot of like Against the Odd. There's a one called Against the Odds and American History Tellers, and it's kind of like about like just crazy ass stories like the Exxon Valdez crashing and oil rigs blowing up and people getting lost because I have some experience with that in the backcountry and that was kind of like grizzly bear maulings because I figure I need to know how to do that at some point. But like, what do I do when I get attacked? But the darkness, unpaid. God, it's a grind. It's a grind every year, and it's like that's the one thing that you're kind of like I start counting down the days to when winter solstice will be, so that I know that it's in theory is getting brighter outside. So right now it's like I think sunset's around 3 p.m. and then sunrise is around like 10 a.m. So whatever
Nice.
that math is, that's kind of like I would say from 4 to 4 p.m. is probably when it starts getting really dark, and you're like, damn, it's dark again. But anyway, so yeah, we got probably a good 18-ish, 18 to 20 hours of darkness. I mean, if you go farther north, then it's even worse. There's that one.
Yeah, that was kind of what I was curious about.
Yeah, there's the one village that the sun went down a couple weeks ago, and they won't see it again until like, gosh, I think it's January, February timeframe, maybe even March, but I can't remember. I've never been up there, so I can't tell.
All right, I'll do the last one real quick and hand it over since I kind of stole his, but my first one was a bust. So, unpaid or underrated, selling T-shirts and banners, or having T-shirts and banners because you don't really sell them very often. So, having people ask for merch.
Yeah. Gosh, I feel like that's a strict. I mean, I can't. I was really going to ride the line on that one. I guess I kind of shit. Guess I'm going to say underrated because I want to sell more of them, but then I also know I'm not an apparel company. So,
yep. No, it was like I felt like it was pulling teeth to get anything from you, and then it's like, hey, here's a T-shirt and here's a banner. Appreciate all your hard work, etc. And I think we trade shirts? Is that how this came about? I think we did, didn't we?
Something on those lines. I mean, I got your T-shirt sitting right over there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I shipped you one of the NWC shirts, and then I got this
Yeah.
from you. I believe that's how that happened. So good stuff.
A mutual agreement.
Yeah.
Joey, I need your T-shirt. Where's your T-shirt at? You got a T-shirt?
No, I don't actually. Maybe at some point the Dilf Dungeon will make a T-shirt. I just don't know if I don't know if it's going to be like a run, or if I'll get one done on my own with the logo.
You can do like a silhouette bald beard guy kind of thing.
Nobody's done that before.
Yeah. Yeah, never ever. Just like me doing one with a mustache.
Yeah, what I'll do is I'll add a skull with a beard because like that's really original.
Yeah.
No, you're serious.
That sounds.
Yeah.
Don't forget the hawk wings.
Yeah, the hawk wings. Yeah, nobody's done that before. Okay, I guess it's my turn then.
Probably not.
Okay, unpaid or underrated? Let's start with an easy one. Island malts. How do you feel about your Islay scotches?
Gosh, those are. I kind of got to go unpaid. Like, I can't do too much smoky. I don't want to taste dirt. Like, I want some. Gosh, that's no thanks. I want to like them, but I just can't. I try them every once in a while, thinking, maybe I've lost some taste buds. Now I'll like it. No, I still like taste. Did I just take a bite of dirt? No, I don't want that.
Yeah, that Lefroy gets you, and you're just like, dirt. Yeah.
My wife bought me one. Was an I'm going to mispronounce it. Ardbeg.
Yep.
I'm sure there's an accent in there. I'm sure there's an accent in there somewhere.
We would call that Ardbeg, yeah.
Yeah, and God, my wife was so happy that she bought it for my birthday, and I took a drink of it. I was like, "This is not good. I'm gonna need to cut. I need to cut this with about 8 ounces of 8 to 1." Like, this is horrible.
That's I'd like my scotch that way, but I mean that's me, right? Like I like those. I like earthy
Yeah,
flavors. But no,
yeah,
I can watch people take a sip and go, "You like this?"
that's too much. Yeah, um, what is it? Gosh, Dalmore.
Yeah, the Dalmore.
Um,
Yep,
yeah,
we'll
I
go
had
with that.
one of their. Yeah, I had one of their 12 years not too a couple weeks ago, and that was really delicious, and it paired well with M&Ms of all things. It was weird. I wasn't expecting it.
Scotch and chocolate is top tier. Like that's a good
Yeah,
pairing.
yeah, it
Okay,
was phenomenal.
unpaid or underrated straight brushes for barbells.
Straight bush over there.
Straight bushes.
Straight-
What's a
I
bush?
love,
We'll never know.
I love, I love the 70s. So
Oh my God! Did someone say a crew merkin or something the other day? Oh, I was
Yeah,
laughing my ass. As like a new merch.
oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Straight brushes. They are overrated and they are bullshit.
yeah,
Stop
they are.
wasting your
there you go.
stop wasting your time. God, you got better things to do, like lift and drink.
Actually, at Los Campianos, I don't think I saw somebody using the straight brush, and I was just like, mm.
Like, what is happening right now?
This is a real gym, and you don't have a barbell rescue.
Like, come on now.
All right, let's go with my last one: unpaid or underrated. Into the Wild, which is that movie about that dummy. So this is an
Well,
AKA.
the book. The book first,
It's
but
a
yes.
book and a
Yeah,
movie. Dummies trying to survive in Alaska because they think they're smart, which I think was really funny based on your story from earlier.
yeah. Like,
And like you, I started to type that, and then before I realized you had a type, so then I just deleted because I was going to add the same thing.
hmm, oh, where is?
Does Kim count in that category?
No,
Because he
because he's
was,
still
Yeah,
alive.
but
still
he
alive.
there was a time period didn't he thought he might
I
not be.
question. I questioned whether I was going to. How
Statistic over
much
there.
longer I was
Do you
going to
know
live?
do you
Yeah,
know the story of Into the Wild?
yeah. I feel like it's been a while.
It's
You
been
know
a
what's?
while.
It's been a while.
So
Gotta look.
so this idiot, Chris McCandless, uh, I'm gonna try to not sway your opinion here. He's a city boy. He's from, I think, Seattle or something. And he decides, I'm just done with humanity. I don't like people. I'm going to go live in the wild of Alaska. And he's got no training. He didn't even bring a fucking map. Like, he didn't even bring a map. And he died. He obviously died. And I hear that this is a common occurrence that people in Alaska get really pissed about. Just that these dummies come out here and die constantly.
Yeah, there. I had to look it up. I have not seen. You know what's crazy is when we moved up here, I stopped watching all Alaska shows or any Alaska movies. Like it was, I'm like, okay, I'm done. All these. Anyway, Into the Wild. I know I've heard of it.
Yep.
I have not seen it,
It's got a good
but
sound. It does have a good soundtrack.
I will say that. But yeah, there's people that are just like, I just want to live off the grid. I just want to live off the grid, and you're like, you better be ready. Like you
Yep.
gotta. Alaska don't give a shit about you. It will kill you. It kills a lot of people.
Well, and that's kind of what I was wondering. Like, does that happen as often as we hear it does?
Yeah, I mean, like the planes crash, the little,
Yep.
single engine kind of stuff. Those you always hear about those. You hear about bear attacks. Those happen. One year it was crazy. It was like bears were eating everybody. And
Bears were eating everybody. Episode title.
yeah, yeah. Like yeah, it happens. Hunters getting lost, never being seen again. There was one actually like a couple of years ago, and it was like he was, you know, 200 feet from camp, and they never saw him again. And so anyway, yeah, it happens, and it don't care. People drowning in the rivers where they go out fishing and hunting and whatnot, and the river takes them under. I won't say I almost ended up one, but there was kind of I was out of my comfort zone per se on this boat. But yeah, so it can happen. It can happen quick. But anyway, so I don't know what I say that. Maybe that it's underrated because you don't want to fuck around. You
No,
better be ready. You better have a plan in place.
he was struggling for food, obviously, because
They
he
starved to
wasn't.
death.
Yeah, well, he starved to death because he ate a berry that causes your
Yeah, I got
digestion
sick.
system
Yeah,
to reject
Oh yeah,
food.
and he
Um,
yeah,
did he
yeah,
did shoot a
yeah, so he ended up
yeah. I
just
only eat
sick off these
blueberries.
berries. Yeah, because he thought they were the wrong berries, and then couldn't get help because where he wanted to cross the river had flooded. But what people they left out of the movie is because he didn't bring a map, there was actually a bridge over the river a mile away.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so he just because he was so unprepared and so convinced he was going to fight nature and all that, like
Yeah,
he ended up dying for that reason. And it's one of those ones where this movie glorifies this behavior of, oh, you're a misanthrope, you don't like people, I'm gonna move out to Alaska and live off the grid. But like, dude, bring a map, like do anything. And
yeah,
yeah, he died
yeah,
out there. And the movie was like glorifying that, and then I started reading more into the guy, and I was just like, no, that guy was stupid. Even like,
yeah,
I live in
yeah,
I live in the country, and like the moment I hear coyotes, I go in the house because I know like nature doesn't fuck around. Pardon my language.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Not at all. Not at freaking all.
no, not at all. So
Nope.
well, I think you passed unpaid and underrated. Which I think when
Gotcha.
Keith comes back would give us a chance that if you have anything for us. So if you have anything for us, start with what you have for me.
All right. Well, I was gonna ask you and Keith simply if you didn't have powerlifting, or in Keith's case now strongman, what fitness, what would you do for fitness if you couldn't do those two?
I will start probably nothing. To be honest with you,
Nothing.
you go back to some of the older episodes here. I actually hated fitness. My middle school and high school teachers really, really bummed me out about any idea of physical well-being or physical fitness.
Yeah.
Um, I had a job in my early, or let's say mid 20s that kept me in shape. I was um
Yeah.
I was actually working for what you would call like an outdoor supply company. So you would get an order of 70 canoes and kayaks, and they got to get on that truck in the next hour.
Gotcha.
Okay, right? Best shape I was ever in. Like I was just in such good shape, but like the idea of going to the gym and working out never appealed to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
then somebody once challenged me to a um, obstacle course. He was like, I do this mud run every year. Come with me. So I joined a gym, saw the personal trainer. Like, it was like, you get 5 free sessions. And I'm like, all right, show me what to do. And he put me on like the suicide bike. He put me on just stuff that I was just like, I hate all of this. Like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And eventually, my friend Big Steve, former podcast guest and a good friend of mine, introduced me to deadlifting. And then I was like, this is the greatest thing I've ever done. So that's when I started deadlifting. And I do think that, like, if I didn't have strongman, powerlifting, or just strength training in general, I'm not sure I would keep up at all
Hmm.
if I got to be upfront.
Yeah.
Because, like, I don't like cardio. I'm not doing CrossFit any day of the week, right? Like, I would legitimately, if somebody said to me, you can't squat, you can't SBD anymore, you can't squat, bench, deadlift, and you can't carry rocks or sandbags anymore, what are you going to do? I would go, well, I'm going to get fat and out of shape because those are the things I like doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Since the beginning of all the rock conversation that I've run into, I'm like, there are a lot of rocks floating around here that.
And the thing about rocks, like somebody brought some rocks down to the Los Campeanos and they were sharp and nobody could really lift them because I think like Trond got cut, I got
Oh,
cut.
sure.
Yeah, like they were just sharp rocks, but sometimes you're just driving and you're like, or even if you see a log across a ditch and you're just like,
Yeah.
bet I could move that log, right? Like, and even if you can't, the idea of trying, same with the rocks, is so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
wonder if I could even stand up holding that rock. No, I don't want to shoulder it. I don't want to overhead press it. That's a big rock. Wonder if I could hug it and stand. And yeah,
Yeah.
that's the rock talk that I'm into, is just like, that's a pretty round rock. Bet I could lift
Yeah.
it up.
Yeah. I do appreciate the when we're out four wheeling, or we'll call it razor red and whatnot, with ATV, UTV, and yeah, a tree is in the way or something. You're like, I wonder if I can move that.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll
I at
get
least
it out
got
of the
to.
way.
I at least got to try before I just chop it up. But
I don't know if you've gone this far back, but it's one of those times where my dad, who I live with, used to kind of like mock the gym, right? Like you're not really doing anything. You're just going there to like talk to people and be social. And I was like, you have no clue what I do here. And
yeah,
we were cutting a tree down in the backyard, and we cut down that tree, and we cut down a second tree. No, it was all the same tree. So we cut down the top branch, it fell. Then we cut down the main tree and it fell. And then we needed to somehow move the main tree off of the small tree. Like, right? And okay, I'll go get the chains, you go get your tractor, blah, 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 blah. And then I went, no, we're not doing any of that. And I just used one of them to move the other one. And he
yeah.
never once made fun of my gym going.
That's awesome.
I was
I
like, we're
love it.
not doing any of that. I'm just going to do it. And that was
I
where it ended. And yeah, I honestly don't think if somebody told me I couldn't do strength training ever, I don't know what I would do. I
yeah,
wouldn't suddenly get into cardio. I wouldn't suddenly get into CrossFit. I would just be
yeah,
like, well, I'm fat now.
yeah. I got some down trees in my backyard that need to be moved.
Hey, you
Come
know
on
what?
up and
Yeah, I'll book some
come
time
on
in
up and
January. Fly me out. I will come and move some
yeah.
trees.
We might have
Uh,
some snow to give you some cardio to go along with that.
I love snow. Uh,
I did. We we this has got to be the worst winter we're currently having. Like, I can see the ground. It is
yeah, same.
depressing.
Yeah,
It's like 35, 40 degrees. I'm like,
it's all
it's
fog.
middle of December.
All I have is
Middle of December.
fog
Yeah,
in the
it's
middle of
stupid.
December. I can't see the neighbor's yard. So
Yeah.
Keith, the question was, if you couldn't do strongman or powerlifting, what would you do?
Hmm. Fuck. For like a strength sport or just life?
Exercise. Let's just call it exercise in
Uh,
general.
fuck. I mean, I guess just the gym bro bodybuilding shit. I mean, that's just going to the gym and just kind of doing shoulders and biceps and triceps and you know, I don't know. Like I did powerlifting for 10 years almost, and or like probably about 7 or 8
Yeah.
years, and now I've been dabbling in strongman for a year, and it's been great. As far as an alternative, I don't know what else do people like. I guess just yeah, chasing the pump. I only did that for like a year or two, and it was like just
You wouldn't go after triathlons or CrossFit?
no, that all sounds horrendous. Olympic weightlifting would be cool to try for
Mm,
like a minute because it's very
yeah.
technical, but also and it would just
Yeah.
it's all like it's like it seems like it's just all overhead and quads, I guess. But that would be
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
that would be the closest thing, I guess.
Yeah, I could see
Because
that.
I'm not definitely not doing burpees. I mean, Olympic weightlifting, I think it still takes a massive toll on your body, but that would
Yeah.
be maybe the closest thing to that kind of chase. Or I guess really
Yeah, I
go
could
into
see it.
the following up on the crew falls, just like grip and arm wrestling is a huge thing. Like it's got a
Oh,
pretty
sure.
like I got a buddy that's really into it here, and he goes down to Pennsylvania regularly and does like grip competitions, and he does pretty good at it. He's like and he's like a rock climber dude. And then I think
Yeah.
they do like a weekly arm wrestling thing. They'll do it on the pier because there's like a pier with like tables they can do it on in the the good weather, and then in the winter they like someone has one in their garage they go to, and they get like handful of guys together to do that. So I guess something like that where I still get the camaraderie because that's like half the reason I do this shit.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. I said I would do nothing, but I think I would, like, if I was granted the luxury of the same amount of time and energy, I would probably get back into parkour.
Oh
Like
yeah, right on.
I could see me doing Ninja Warrior, like if I was granted the luxury of like you have that. You have the time to go and train the conditioning, train the strength, do that.
Yeah,
I used to love that kind of thing, but also at the same time Ninja Warrior is insane and I don't like cardio.
yeah,
But like
yeah,
the idea of being able to like fly off of things and land on your feet and stuff like that. I used to do that like when I was younger, but also I'm 40 tomorrow. So like I don't want to like I don't really want to do that kind of thing anymore. But if it was like you can't do the things you like, what are you going to do?
yeah,
Yeah, maybe now that Keith brings up Olympic and arm wrestling and all that, I forgot other things exist. I
Yeah,
might get
we definitely live in a
yeah.
bubble.
yeah, I might
I,
get back into parkour.
yeah, I like the grip strength. That's been pretty fascinating, kind of to learn over the last couple of years and kind of see what people do. But yeah, the parkour makes complete sense. Like that would roll right into any sort of grip strength.
Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Keith, I got one last one. This
Shoot.
one's specifically for you. Unpaid or underrated toenail clipping.
Oh, fuck
Blech.
off. It's the most disgusting thing in the world. I can do my that would be unpaid. Like my wife and I get into like we don't, I mean, we fight a lot, but like that is the start of several of them, is like her just starting to clip her nails. And I'm like, I'm leaving in like 10 minutes. Just wait 10 minutes. And she's like, oh, I just got to get the one. And I'm like, it nauseates me, like the sound of anyone clipping their nails. When I see it on TV, I almost vomit. Like I have to mute it, or like do the whole like plug my ears and then like put my, like put my hand over my eyes to just cover up that clip. Yeah, I don't know what it is about it, but and I wouldn't say it's been that way my whole life, but definitely the last as long as I can remember. So maybe not like as a kid, but I guess as a kid, I don't really know people clipping nails next to me.
And
I mean,
honestly, the worst part, man, like this is just like the me and you opposite thing. My toenails grow at such an insane rate because my wife makes fun of me all the time. She's like you have to clip your nails at twice the rate other people do because they just turn into claws within like 3 days.
that's
And
crazy.
oh, I hate it.
I go like
And
3 weeks without clipping my nails,
oh, I hate it.
and they're not that
I
long.
yeah, I'll go 5 days and then I'll look down and be like, how did you get that long? And then I've got to go after them and file them and yeah.
Wait until you're old and you got to have some. You got to pay somebody to clip your toes when you're like 80.
Oh, I love going to pedicures. Yeah, don't threaten me with a good time.
I've only had two, and they've been bullshit. They were lame.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
not sold. I'm not sold on them at
Alaska
all.
doesn't have good pedicures.
I've done one here, and I went on vacation. We were in Hawaii, and I was like, that was the first one was in Hawaii, and I expected. I don't know what I expected.
I
Something better than
guess
that was like
same thing.
this
Like
was lame.
like there's not a lot of good massage. I haven't found a lot of good massage therapists. I think I've had a handful of pedicures, and it's like unless you're getting a really good calf massage and a foot rub out of it, it's if all they're doing is just kind of washing your feet. Like that's not what a pedicure is to me.
No, no,
Yeah,
it's
I need to be a little pampered.
for me, it's the filing off of all the dead skin.
Yeah.
I love that because I get a lot. I wear barefoot shoes. I'm on my feet 8 to 10 hours a day at my job. And then like you go in there and they're just like, we're gonna need the razors, and they'll bring out a razor and like shave off the calluses and the dead
a,
skin. Like
I
that's
do that.
a
that's the
pumice
key.
stone isn't enough.
I
No,
got a
God, for what I get through, no, God, no.
I got like one of those like raspy things that I use like once like every couple months in the shower. Just well, it's supposed to do it dry, so I do it in the shower because it makes a big mess. But it's only my right foot. My right foot's bigger than my left foot, so I have like almost no like corns or anything on my left foot. My right foot's got like the whole like inner like the whole insole or the so like the inside of my arch, I guess. So yeah. But fucking
Nice.
take your Nintendo clippings and shove them up your ass.
All
That was
right.
good. That was good.
Was that it, Big Kim?
Yeah, that's all I had. That's all I.
The
Yeah,
episode.
that's it.
Yeah, good episode. All right. So I guess
Yeah, I'll let you do all the outro because I don't have any of that up right now.
oh really? Ooh, I get
Well,
to
I
do
mean,
that. I stole your See You Next Tuesday a couple weeks
You're
ago,
in
and
charge.
I'd like to do that part, but you can do.
I felt bad for taking that from you that one day. Like I thought about that for like 2 days.
I guess I meant the affiliates because I don't have them in front of me.
Affiliate links. Let's go with Obsidian. First of all, I've been getting a ton of referrals on that one. He released the White Monster one. And
yeah.
Follow up on that. Is it actually scented like anything, or is it
it's
because
scented like White Monster.
okay, I didn't know if the guy just like puts labels on it and it's just more of a
No, no,
parody,
if
or
he,
if he actually like tries to make them scented like what they're supposed
no,
to smell like.
if he releases a scent, it's a scent.
Okay.
So he released that, and within like I was at Crew Falls, I had like 3 referrals, 4 I think in 2 days,
Nice.
3 in one day.
I'm gonna have to
So
try
yeah,
that one.
code unpaid or lift bearded at that one. It's all the same code for me. Of course, Kim gave us the wonderful code Barbell Rescue Unpaid. Save 10%. So it's essentially a $5 discount off of a Barbell Rescue Brush. So you're silly not to order one if you don't already have one. We've got plate snacks. We got Home Gym Con, Belt Fed Strength, and the Strength Co. The Strength Co is only the apparel, which is still amazing because Big Grant does not like discounts. And Belt Fed Strength, those guys giving us any kind of discount. They're a home based business as well, so they're cutting into theirs just to give us. We don't get anything from them, but we get the recognition of, hey, we're Crew.
They're the belts we wore along the way.
Yeah, the true the true kickback is the friends we made along the way.
Indeed.
All right, Big Kim. Just want to give us where's the best place to follow you?
Best place where I live my life is Barbell Rescue One, and then also Friesen KA and Friesen Fitness. It's all in my Discord bio, I believe.
Oh, nice, smart man.
So I don't have to spell big scans through that one. And I was like, that's smart.
Yeah, I always try to tell people to
That
do
old man has some wisdom in him.
He really does.
I know. So you said you were in your early 20s in 2001. So what? You're like 45, 46? Where are you at?
I just turned 47.
Oh, okay, damn, good man.
Yeah,
Definitely in
47 and a grandpa at that.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Not a lot of ton.
Yeah.
Are there any? There's got to be a handful of crew grandparents, right? There's got to be a couple.
I would think. I've been trying to figure that one out kind of from day one about who all the old crusties were. But I was surprised on that. I've been surprised on how old the group is in general.
Mhm.
Like it's.
We've gotten 3 or 4 years older since we all got here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
I think it skews towards 30s and 40s, right? Like I know there's outliers on each side, the median and motorboat, but it definitely skews towards the 30s and 40s. Keith, where are we going to find you?
Keith Honey got 73 on Instagram. Go follow my Orange Gym, the No Wine Cellar.
And of course, just for Big Matthias, Joey_MLECZKO. And that's a story from last week. Keith, see us out, buddy.
All right, go follow the Instagram, the YouTube, all that good stuff, and we will see you next Tuesday.